shadow of legendary coach Woody Hayes still looms large over the Ohio State football program. Ohio State football is steeped in tradition, highlighted by two-time Heisman winner Archie Griffin. It is this legacy present coach John Cooper and his program are required to live up to. Senior quarterback Greg Fry led the Big Ten in passing a year ago. Today, he just hopes to lead the Buckeyes out of a two-game losing streak, while freshman tailback Robert Smith is the present and future of the ground game. Coach Bill Mallory has Ohio State on his mind this weekend as his unbeaten Hoosiers meet their first major test of the season. Junior running back Vaughn Dunbar has picked up the gauntlet from graduated All-America Anthony Thompson, leading the nation's second-ranked rushing attack. Sophomore quarterback Trent Green is at the helm of an offense averaging 45 points a game. Today, they've come back home to Indiana for IU's 78th homecoming. Ohio State and Indiana on ESPN. It is a gorgeous day at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana. The Ohio State Buckeyes and the Indiana Hoosiers. Hi, everybody. I'm Wayne Larrabee with Ben Bennett. Welcome back home to Indiana for homecoming. You know, when you book a homecoming opponent, Ben, normally you try to book a decidedly inferior opponent to get a big win in front of the alumni and hometown fans. That's not the case here today for Bill Mallory's bunch.
Unfortunately, the bunch that they've booked is the Ohio State Buckeyes, a team that Indiana has only beaten twice since 1951.
Indiana is undefeated at 4-0, but a lot of people are wondering just how good this team really is. Let's take a look at the record right here. They haven't faced a top 20 team yet, but that victory over Missouri is impressive, as well as the 42-0 blanking at Northwestern. Ohio State is 2-2, but their losses have been to pedigree top 20 competition, USC and Illinois. But really, the Buckeyes have suffered in the kicking game this season.
A lot of turnovers, and a blocked kick last week against Illinois led to a big loss against a Big Ten foe. They've had 3 kicks blocked already this season, starting with a blocked kick against Boston College 3 weeks ago. Things won't get any better for Ohio State today, as Indiana possesses probably the premier kick blocker in the country in Mike Dumas. He's blocked 2 punts already this season.
Well, if Ohio State is to pull out of this losing streak, they'll look to a 5th-year senior quarterback in Greg Fry.
Well, what better guy to look to than your trigger man? A 5th-year senior, his 3rd year as a starter. Now, Fry has been hot and cold this season, but remember, he was a Big Ten's number one rated passer last season. He's the guy that can pull him out of the doldrums.
All right, Indiana's only won twice against Ohio State in the last 30-some years, and they look to make it 2 out of 3 last year's victories here today. Let's take a look at the two teams as they come onto the field now. The Ohio State Buckeyes, there is Greg Fry and the captains heading out to the 50-yard line. I should say, since 1952, only 2 years has Indiana beaten Ohio State, 2 of the last 3 years, and here come the homestanding Hoosiers. We'll return to Bloomington for today's Big Ten contest. Coming up, paint the town red, and that's exactly what they were doing all day yesterday, getting set for the Ohio State Buckeyes to come here to Memorial Stadium and take on the Indiana Hoosiers. And as I mentioned, it is a gorgeous, just a simply gorgeous day for college football in the heartland of America. Partly cloudy skies, 65 degrees the temperature, winds out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. There's Greg Fry, 5th-year senior for Ohio State. He'll provide the leadership. John Cooper, in his 3rd year at Ohio State. He's been under some heat. There's no question about that. The legacy of Ohio State's Woody Hayes is a lot to live up to, even though Woody is 12 years and 2 coaches removed. Across the way from John Cooper, Bill Mallory patrols the Indiana sidelines in his 7th season, and what a year he's had so far. What a career he's had here at Indiana, turning a basketball school into a school that can also play football. Ohio State won the toss, deferred their decision to the second half, and thus will kick off to the Hoosiers. There's Coach Cooper. Tim Williams, a 5'9" freshman out of Waynesville, Ohio, getting sent to start the proceedings here. Dropping back deep, that's Steve Goodrich on the top of your screen. Vaughn Dunbar on the right or bottom. Williams heads over to the side now to check with his coverage people. Just about set for Big Ten action. Indiana 1-0 in the conference. Ohio State 0-1. Sellout crowd, and they've all dressed in red here today. Indiana's beaten Ohio State 2 of the last 3 times they played. Ohio State won 35-31 last year in Columbus. We're underway. Goodrich from the 5. Out to the 24-yard line. First hit of the day made by Steve Tovar. All Big Ten candidate and linebacker. Trent Green leads the offense on the Sears diehard starting lineup for the Indiana Hoosiers. Trent Green gets the start, became the #1 quarterback of the fall drills. Cal Miller solid at fullback. Vaughn Dunbar great speed at tailback. Watch Rob Turner at split end. He's the star. Todd Walker a solid tight end. Jason Mack on the offensive line at center leads the way. Dunbar to the outside for almost 9 yards. Pelini and Spellman made the stop for Ohio State. Completing the lineup at the tackle spots, Randy Schneider's a returning starter on this offensive line, the only returning starter. Second down and a yard to go now for the Indiana Hoosiers. Down across the 35-yard line. And we'll take a look at the Ohio State defense for you. It begins up front with Greg Smith, very productive, tough nose guard. Spellman is a great athlete at defensive end. And Brimble is a key up front also. Cook and Simmons, an outside linebacker, lack speed. Lease and Tovar very efficient in the middle. Tovar a star. Clark and Hawk have not played well at the corners. Pelini and Peel are productive at the safety spots, although slow. Dunbar gets the call again. This time the Buckeyes are ready. Gain of maybe 2 out to the 40-yard line. Tovar and Spellman on the stop of the play.
Wayne, the important thing to look for at the outset of this football game are exactly what both offensive and defensive coordinators said they were going to try to do. Ohio State said they were going to try and shut down Indiana to the outside. Indiana conversely said they were going to try to run to the outside. That's going to be the big matchup. It's going to be speed to the corner.
Second down and 8. Green on the option. Simmons made the stop. Pelini was also there. Third down and 8 coming up. No gain. John Cooper's teams at Ohio State, while efficient on offense, have lacked some on defense, and they're still trying to get that aspect of the program turned around. This is third year. Third down call for Trent Green. Green on a deep drop. Spellman nearly wrapped him up. Green still on his feet, but far short of the first down. Tovar and Cook recovered in the linebacking core.
That's right there is a superior individual effort by Trent Green. None of the receivers were open downfield. He had all sorts of bodies all over him, and he managed to scramble ahead for positive yards.
Mackey Smith on in punt formation. Jeff Graham back in single safety. Graham leads the Big Ten in punt returns. Smith just did get that kick off. yards short of its 20-yard line. We're scoreless early in this first period of play from Bloomington. Obviously, they are wired for cable. First down, Ohio State. Buckeye 18-yard line. Fifth-year senior Greg Fry at the controls. Jeff Graham in motion. Scotty Graham gets the call. For about 3 out to the 21-yard line. Mark Hagan makes the stop, the inside linebacker. Sears Diehard starting lineups for the Ohio State offense. Veteran leadership from Greg Fry. He'll become the 4th all-time leading passer in Ohio State history. Smith is the guy to watch. Raymond Harris also had a big game last week. Olive and Graham, good speed at wide receiver. Jeff Ellis back from a knee injury at tight end. The center, Dan Beatty, a returning starter. The only returning starter on the offensive line. We'll get the others in a moment. Smith. Penalty marker goes down. Smith goes down to the arms of Greg Farrell, who also is coming back from a knee injury that took about 2 weeks earlier this season. Rest of the lineup at the guards, Hartman and Peterson, good size. And at the tackles, Klein and Choke. Klein is a redshirt freshman. They're very high on him. Jim Kimmerling is the Big Ten official on hand for today's game.
We have a hole on the offense. Still second down.
So the Buckeyes put themselves in a hole now, back to the 11-yard line.
Good place right here to try a little slip screen, maybe drop in a draw, try and get some of it back right off the bat and not try to go for the whole home run.
Nothing there for Robert Smith, the heralded freshman. Miller led the way, number 40, sophomore from Massillon, Ohio. There are 17 Ohio natives on this Indiana roster. 5 of them start on defense. This is a very important game to those kids.
In conversations last night with both coaching staffs, they feel this is the key matchup. If Ohio State can repeat last year's performance and just completely outman Indiana in the running game, that will be the difference. It was last year. Indiana's hoping they can get a lot of bodies around the ball this year, so that doesn't happen.
Passing situation, but they go to Smith on the ground. He's got some running room. Dumas cut him off on the far side. The longest running play against the first-string Indiana defense. First-string defense this season so far has been 13 yards. He didn't get enough yardage there for the first down, fell far short. Out of punt formation, Jeff Bowman, a senior from Centerville, Ohio. Rob Turner drops back deep for Indiana. Turner on the move to the Indiana 48-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers. Tom Lease made the stop on the play. Trent Green getting last-minute instructions from Bill Mallory.
You know, Trent Green's a great story. He went into this fall practice after having a bad back all spring, and he was a number 2 QB, but the coaches said he never got down on himself. He just kept working. They decided to start him against Kentucky, and they say that's where he really put some space in between he and backup Chris Dyer.
Out of St. Louis, Missouri, Trent Green. Off one tackle attempt. Made something out of nothing. Got about 3 yards just across the midfield marker. Walton and Tovar forced him out of the near side. You know, Ben, what Ohio State is most wary of defensively is Indiana's ability with its speed to get to the flanks, because really, if you take a look at it, at the safety positions and the outside linebacking positions, Ohio State does not have great athletic ability there.
And that's one of the things that Indiana is doing differently this year. They're trying to let their backs bounce it outside because they do have that speed.
Second down. Ernie Thompson, the younger but bigger and faster brother of Anthony Thompson, an All-America here at Indiana. And #1 #1 draft choice of the Phoenix Cardinals, makes that play for a first down.
They say he's bigger and faster, and if he's anywhere close to the ability of his brother, he is going to be a good one. You can see he's just a powerful back. He's a big kid, he's strong, and he runs the football very, very hard up inside. But he also has the speed to break the long one.
8 yards on that gain by Ernie Thompson. Had a good game against Northwestern a week ago. All of the Hoosiers did in a 42-0 romp. Some movement in the offensive backfield. Penalty markers are down. Thomas for the touchdown, but I believe they're going to call it back. There appeared to be some premature movement in the offensive backfield, illegal motion to call against Indiana.
These are the things that kill you, Wayne. Now, this is a long touchdown, but in addition to being a long touchdown, it's a heck of an emotional boost. Unfortunately, both the fullback and the tailback were in motion at the same time.
Motion on the offense, still first down.
See if we can pick it up here, Ben.
Now the fullback is allowed to move as long as he resets. Unfortunately, if you see the shadow in the background in the bottom right-hand corner, Dunbar was also moving. That's 2 backs in motion as the ball was snapped. Nullifies a long pass play.
First down now, again for Indiana. First down in a long yardage situation. First and 15, back near the 46. Thompson out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Over to make the play, Tim Walton supporting from his cornerback spot. 12 yards on that gain.
And Wayne, although this wasn't an intentional bounce outside, this is something that Indiana has done differently in their running game this year. Thompson's brother Anthony was a knock 'em dead, bang up in the middle and break arm tackles. This year, Indiana has more speed. You can see the tackle missed in the backfield. Thompson breaks away, gets outside, picks up a block, lays his head down. These are some fast running backs that Indiana possesses.
Second down now for Indiana at about 3. Ernie Thompson getting a couple of tough yards on the inside that time. Tovar and Simmons respond. For Ohio State, it looks like Indiana has a first down as they inch deeper into Ohio State territory, although they are calling for the change now. It'll depend on the spot of the ball.
They've done it.
Yep, now they motion the change to move downfield, and it's first down Indiana.
And Wayne, let's go back a couple of plays to the touchdown that was called back on the penalty. What that showed, besides the fact that Trent Green is a good ball handler, is it shows that he can throw the ball deep because he's got 2 outstanding receivers in Eddie Thomas and Rob Turner. Thomas averaging 22 and Turner 25 yards a catch.
McGowan in motion. Green on the option, gonna keep it to the 26-yard line on a gain of 5, and Jim Peel from the strong safety position, a senior from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, makes the stop.
Ohio State's defensive coordinator Bill Young was talking about last night. This man right here, Trent Green, will carry the ball more often. When we talked to offensive coordinator from Indiana, George Ballou, he said Green will pitch the ball. They run the lead option, which is where there really isn't a fake to the fullback. He actually leads the sweep, and it's an intentional pitch to the back.
Second down. Ernie Thompson moves the pile forward to the 21-yard line. Tovar and Frimmel are there, along with Tom Lease. First down, Indiana. The Hoosiers continue a methodical march offensively into Ohio State territory.
Well, to say that man right there is a chip off the old block, that's a cliche, but boy, it's deadly accurate. He's powerful like his brother. He'll move piles like his brother, and he has a nose for the end zone. His brother, of course, the NCAA's all-time touchdown scoring leader.
First and 10, just outside the Ohio State 20. Motion from Rob Turner. Vaughn Dunbar to the outside. Simmons missed him near the 20, and Dunbar got about 5 more yards down to the 15-yard line, where Peel and Tovar came over to make the stop. Tovar probably will be the next dominant linebacker produced by Ohio State. At least that's the way John Cooper feels about it.
you can understand as you watch this fellow play football why he's a Buckeyes Award candidate, which is given to the top linebacker in the country. He just makes plays that you can't coach.
Second down. Eddie Thomas comes across the formation in motion. Cal Miller running hard for a couple of yards down to the 12. Tovar again there along with Peel.
Well, if you want to bring a smile to a coach's face, ask him what kind of player Cal Miller is. They all say to a man that he's the most coachable, nicest, hardest working kid that they have on their squad. And a note on him this year, he has not lost a yard on a carry at all this season.
Third down and 1 coming up. We have 6:17 left to go in this first period of play. There's a look at the drive. Thompson got the first down before being turned back. Frimmel, Tovar, not there in time.
This is the fellow we spoke of earlier, leading the team with 45 total hits. This fella right here has a nose for the football. You can see he weasels his way between two blockers. Both of them were assigned to him. He managed to stand both of them up and stand up the fullback for only a 1-yard gain.
First down, goal to go, just inside the 10. Vaughn Dunbar, nice hole up the middle, and Dunbar is down near the 3-yard line. Tim Walton on a touchdown saving tackle. Second and goal to go coming up. Vaughn Dunbar, 2 touchdowns last week. More speed than anyone at Indiana. And Mallory has been here 7 years. Second out, goal to go from the 3. Dunbar. Touchdown!
Once you get down this close to the goal line, all the grace and artistry leaves the football field. Now it's just smash mouth football. Who wants it more? Who can knock who off of the line?
Scott Bunnell, a sophomore from Newburgh, Indiana, puts it through the uprights, and the Hoosiers impressively score on a big drive. On the board, capping an 11-play, 53-yard drive.
Well, Wayne, everybody that scores a touchdown isn't always the selfish superstar that you think. They will pat people on the back that help them. Watch the block right there by Cal Miller, which brings Dunbar into the end zone. Now, unless you see that on a replay and somebody points it out, you can go through a whole game and never see the contributions of some of the other players. But I promise you the coaches see it, and that man right there, Vaughn Dunbar, will run up and pat somebody on the back and say, "Thank you for helping."
May you rest in peace. It's red on red here in Indiana today. The Ohio State colors, of course, are silver and red. White and red for Indiana. Awful lot of red in the stadium.
Well, the theme for homecoming was paint the town red.
And it certainly is.
That's about as accurate as they come.
Everybody came dressed in red as well. Dante Lee, Raymond Harris back deep to receive this kick from Scott Bunnell. It'll be Dante Lee, the sophomore, from the 4. Out across the 20 to the 22-yard line. Steve Perkins made the tackle for Indiana. Let's get to the Indiana defense for you now. Paul Williams, a former defensive back, starts up front on the nose. Honeycutt McCoy at the defensive tackle spots. Mason, a former running back. Farrell coming back from an injury. His second week back, and he's playing well. Miller, very solid inside. Hagan leads this team in tackles. Richardson, Middleton at the cornerbacks. Richardson with 2 interceptions. Ane and Dumas. Dumas a key to this defense, anchoring it from the safety position. First down for Greg Fry and company. Smith. It's a foot race down the sidelines. Taken out of bounds by Middleton near the 7-yard line of Indiana.
Robert Smith, the freshman, didn't get to be the Ohio's Mr. Football junior and senior year for nothing. Watch him pick up his block, and from here on out, it's just sheer speed. Mike Middleton, you can't see it here, but has a tremendous angle on him and manages to run him down, but Robert Smith almost outran him to the corner of the end zone.
71-yard run to put Ohio State in business at the 7-yard line. Longest run against the Indiana first-team defense all season long. Longest run period against Indiana this season.
Superior effort by Middleton to run Smith down.
First and goal. Scotty Graham plowing forward to the 4. He got 3, and John Miller made the stop. Well, that Robert Smith, you talk about the speed, as you mentioned. He's got sprinter speed. Explosive and versatile. Finished his prep career with over 5,000 yards rushing and 68 touchdowns.
To give you an idea what kind of speed, as a junior, he was the state 100 meters champion, and as a senior, he finished second.
Ohio State coming right at you. Raymond Harris. Just inside the 3 for a gain of a yard. Hagan made the stop. Good quickness on this Indiana defense, but they are not big.
Last week against Northwestern, they shut down one of the premier running backs in the Big Ten, in Bob Christian. They did that by getting a lot of bodies around the football. This week they've got to contend with a much larger and much more experienced offensive line in Northwestern. It's going to be size against quickness.
Third and goal. Just inside the 3 of Indiana. Fry. Touchdown, Ellis. Jeff Ellis, the junior tight end, coming back from a devastating knee injury, a major knee injury suffered at USC last year. Sat out the rest of the season and all of spring practice, and just coming into his own now.
Well, he's holding his knee, but he took a shot right on the chest plate as he caught that ball. That's a superior effort to hang on to the football in traffic. Watch the play fake here to hold the linebackers. Fry rolls out. His first receiver's in the flat. When he's covered, he comes back, throws the ball up. Watch the shot here at the end. Boom! Right in the chest plate. Let me tell you something, folks. Those are the kind of hits that you take home with you for a couple of days.
He, of course, is the son of former world heavyweight boxing champion Jimmy Ellis, and obviously Jeff Ellis proved here he can take a shot.
Ohio State was excited about what Jeff Ellis did for them in 1988. Caught 40 passes for 492 yards, but then was lost last year in the second game with the knee injury. He came back. He's not a primary pass receiver so far this year, but look at the hands and look at the concentration to hang on after he takes that big hit in the end zone.
Ellis heading off pretty much under his own power. There he is.
You know, Wayne, a lot of times when you come down on a knee like that, it may not hurt as bad as it is scary, because when you've had the injury, you tend to think about it. And he may have just been a little unsure of himself when he came down on it. I don't think he's hurt. At least it doesn't look like he is as he walks off the football field.
That's the first pass, Ben, of either team today. And I believe Greg Fry last year against Indiana threw what, all of about 8 passes?
Well, he didn't need to throw too many because he completed 7 of them, and they ran Indiana to death.
Well, he's 1 for 1 today. A 3-yard touchdown pass. Tim Williams set for the point after. Kirk Herbstreit, the holder. And the Buckeyes have caught the Hoosiers on a 4-play, 78-yard drive. We're tied at 7 with 3:27 to go in the first. Wayne Larrabee and Ben Bennett. Of course, ESPN is interested in supporting and finding out what kind of talent these campuses are producing around the country in their journalism programs. Indiana journalism major David Birch, a junior here at IU. You see him right there in the coat and tie. He'll be our sideline reporter today. Right now he's checking on the injury to Jeff Ellis. We'll hear from him a little bit later on. Indiana and Ohio State are tied at 7 apiece. 3:27 to go, first period of play. On Dunbar on the right side, and on the far side, Goodrich. You get a look at Tim Williams. Williams has had an outstanding year, 10 of 10 PATs and 5 out of 7 from the field goal range. 52 is his long field goal department, 25 points on the season. Good leverage into this kick. Dunbar from the 5. Spun away for an extra 5 yards to the 29-yard line. Craig Griffey made the stop on the play. Here's the first score of the game. Vaughn Dunbar's 3-yard touchdown run, capping that 11-play, 53-yard drive. Very impressive drive by Indiana. And Jeff Ellis scored on the 3-yard pass from Greg Fry, still the only pass of the ball game, capping a 4-play, 78-yard drive, 71 of which came on a run by Robert Smith.
An outstanding run by Robert Smith.
Timeout called by the official, Jim Kimmerling, and apparently they need to reset the clock here. Coming up later today following our game, we've got a traditional matchup down to the southwest. It is Texas and Oklahoma. That game to be followed by our primetime offering, Florida and Tennessee.
And Wayne, you get to showcase a couple of the teams that I picked before the season started as my dark horse national championship. Very dark because both of them were on probation. Florida and Oklahoma. Before the season, Florida might not even have been ranked in the top 25 in some wire services. Oklahoma ranked as high as 18, as low as 22nd. Both teams are playing superior offensive football, and both teams playing very good defensive football right now.
All right, let's get down to our sideline reporter, David Furch. David?
Thank you, Wayne. And I'm standing here with Jeff Ellis. And Jeff, you got banged up down there. What happened?
Oh, yeah. When I went to catch the ball and I came down, they tackled me. My legs just got twisted up in between them, and I just turned my ankle a little bit, but I'll be okay.
Talked to the team doctor. You said it was a sprained ankle. You're going to be able to come in the next play?
Oh, yes, I'm ready to go out right now.
Okay, there you have it. Jeff Ellis will be back. Let's go take it back up now to Wayne and Ben.
All right, thank you very much, David. Jeff Ellis will be returning. Now it's first down for Indiana as soon as they get the clock reset to the proper time.
You know, it should be interesting to mention how this young sideline reporter managed to get his job. There were 9 students that came out and had to audition. They threw him into the meat grinder and said, respond. He came out on top. Very proud. I'm sure his parents are pretty proud of him.
They should be. Trying to reset that clock now. I believe 3:22 is what they're going to go with. 3:22 left to go in this first period of play. Indiana first down, 29-yard line, Hoosier territory. That's Turner in motion. On Dunbar. The junior out of Northeast Oklahoma A&M Junior College. Jay Cook made the stop, gain of almost 10 yards.
And you're talking about that Oklahoma Junior College. There has been a passel of players from that school come to Indiana and perform very, very well. There's actually 3 starters on this team from there.
They took Dunbar last year, Ben, and sat him out. They redshirted him. They had Anthony Thompson say, hey, we'll save you for next year when we lose AT. Second down, short yardage situation. Cal Miller spinning his way for about 5 out near the 45-yard line. Pelini and Cook on the stop. Not before a first down is realized by Indiana.
When Indiana has tough yards to make, you can almost count on one of the 2 fullbacks, either Cal Miller or Ernie Thompson, getting the football, because these guys run north and south. And as I mentioned earlier, Cal Miller has not lost a yard on any carry this season so far.
Trent Green looks over a 1st and 10. Green to the air. Rob Turner, they say he didn't get down in bounds. Tim Walton forced him out of real estate on the near side.
I think the problem you're going to see is that he was juggling the football. One of the things that we had talked about with George Blue yesterday was that Trent Green really doesn't have the arm to throw this long out. So they sprint him towards the out, and you can see the ball is not a tight spiral and the bobble at the end. He had his feet down, but he never really had control of the football.
That snapped a streak of 18 straight Indiana rushing plays on offense with the first pass of the game by Trent Green. Threw a pass earlier that was wiped out by penalty. 2nd down and 10. Dunbar, big hole. Dunbar off to the races. Brian Cook caught him from behind at the Ohio State 30-yard line.
You are seeing the running game at its very finest from these two teams. Dunbar gets the ball and just runs right past the rush, puts the ball in the right hand. Good move, very sound fundamental. Just didn't quite have enough head start to run away from Ohio State secondary.
25 yards on the game. Indiana and Ohio State tied at 7. Late first period of play. About 1:55 to go in the first. Goodrich. Cook again makes the stop. This time a loss of about 5. Let's go to the studio. Tim Brando for an update. Tim?
All right, Wayne, at Bobby Dodd Stadium, Georgia Tech's Sean Jones already with a couple of touchdown passes. It is 14-3. Clemson had already given up 10 points in its first 3 games, so they're looking good, Georgia Tech. Virginia, Sean Moore, 15-yard touchdown pass to Gary Steele. It is 7-0 the Cavaliers. Boy, the ACC becoming an impact lead, Ben Bennett. Back to you guys.
Well, of course it is. ACC's always been good football. Started big back in 1980.
Was that the dawning of the Bennett era at Duke?
Unfortunately, that was the end of the Lawrence Taylor era.
1st and 15. Make that 2nd and 15. Not a whole lot there. Bernie Thompson on the carry. Walton and Judah Herman forced him out. Jay Cook was also there. Linebacker Brent Johnson, a sophomore from Columbus, is back at home. He is a backup inside linebacker. Plays a lot for Ohio State, but they discovered an irregular heartbeat, and they are doing tests on him. And thus he is not playing with Ohio State this weekend. Hopefully things will go well and he'll be back in the lineup. 3rd down, gain of 5 on the previous play, so it's 3rd and 10. Green over the middle. Coleman, the tight end, is short of the first down by about 4 yards. Tovar and Herman, the inside linebackers, collaborate on the tackle. So the kicking unit comes on. John Cooper looks on. His defense apparently has contained Indiana. Forced a field goal try of about 41 yards. Bunnell's long this year is 43. He is 1 of 3 between 40 and 49 yards out. John Martin on the snap. Mark Newell will hold. Good. Indiana back in front with 18 seconds to go in the first period.
You know, Wayne, that was a 42-yard field goal that probably would have gone through from 55. When he kicked that football, it sounded like that cannon going off, and that baby carried about 18 yards through the back of the end zone.
Take a look at the field goal kick here. Plenty to spare.
Look how far out of the back of the end zone that ball went.
And watch this. There's a look at the kick. Good extension and the reaction.
He knew 10 yards past the line of scrimmage that baby was going through.
8 plays, 46 yards, 25 of which came on a Vaughn Dunbar burst. So 10-7 Indiana on top. 18 seconds to go in this first period of play. Both teams have been able to move the football. And they've done it on the ground. There's the deep men. Back deep is Raymond Harris. Dante Lee. The wind is starting to pick up here in the stadium. It was a very calm, foggy morning here in Bloomington and rather cool. The wind has picked up and the temperatures come up considerably. Should be up a near 70 degrees by the time it's over. There's the 8-play, 46-yard drive. Took 3:04 off the clock. Bunnell's 42-yard field goal. That ball hit right inside the pylon of the end zone. So Indiana will get it from the 20-yard line. I think Dante Lee was hoping that it would hit just about a yard or two up the line and force Indiana to kick it over again. Seconds left to go in this first period of play. Coming up, we've got golf later tonight, and tonight about midnight, live tomorrow. It's the PGA Golf Las Vegas Invitational. Last year, Scott Hoke pulled off one of the most dramatic victories in the history of the tour, and they'll try to match the excitement tonight and tomorrow here on ESPN. First down, Buckeyes at the Ohio State 20. Robert Smith for about 2 yards, maybe 3. Hagan closed on the tackle. He's the leading tackler in this team. Roy Mason was also there, number 5 in your picture. And the first period winds to a close. End of one complete in Bloomington. Indiana has a 3-point lead on a gorgeous homecoming back home at Indiana. Optometry here. Well, they have everything in this school, don't they? Indiana leading Ohio State 10-7. We begin the second period of play. It is second down and 8 for Ohio State. 22-yard line. Greg Fry in his own territory. Raymond Harris out of the tailback spot. He works both the fullback and the tailback positions. Mason, a former running back, and Chris McCoy, converted outside linebacker, make the stop. McCoy now on the down line.
Wayne, one of the things we haven't seen Ohio State use as of yet, except down on the goal line, is one of the things that they do best, which is play action. Fry is a very, very good ball handler and makes good reads after he makes the fake.
They say he may be the best play action quarterback in the Big Ten. Third down. Fry off some play action there. Under pressure now. Gets it away to Bobby Olive. The pass overthrown, incomplete. Olive had broken free, but Fry did well just to get rid of the football. McCoy and Williams converged defensively up front.
And it's a shame Greg Fry couldn't have seen downfield. Jeff Graham had beaten his man and was 15 yards behind the closest Indiana defender.
That's what a pass rush will do to you.
Absolutely. That was one of Indiana's goals, was to get a hand in his face on every pass play.
Jeff Molden. Rob Turner, as you saw a moment ago, back deep. He ranks 10th in the NCAA in punt returns. Bowman, a poor kick. Turner on the run across the 35. Gets the step into Ohio State territory to the 42-yard line of the Buckeyes. Tovar made the stop. Congratulations for Trent Turner on a fine punt return. Like that, Rob Turner.
It's not something that this guy's not used to doing already. He's already taken one back for a touchdown this year. Had another one against Illinois last year, a 66-yarder. And like you said, he's a tremendous athlete once he gets his hands on the football.
They mark it at the 43-yard line of Ohio State. Just underway, second period. Indiana leading by 3. Thomas, the wide receiver, at the bottom of your screen. Juan Dunbar. Close to a first down. Inside the 35. He may have 10 yards. Tim Walton made the tackle. They get a mark of just short near the 34.
The other unsung heroes throughout a football game are always in the trenches. The linemen, Randy Snyder, Troy Newton, Jason Mack, Steve Fiacable, and Sean Harper are opening some monster holes in that Ohio State defensive line.
Second down, about a yard to go. Ernie Thompson's the fullback. Play action, Green. Intercepted on the play by Brian Cook. First down, Ohio State near the 36 of the Buckeyes.
On this play action play, Trent Green added insult to injury. After he makes a good fake, he didn't see Rob Turner up the sidelines wide open for a touchdown, and then tried to force a pass into Thompson late in the flat. If you're going to throw the football in the flat, you got to throw it early. Brian Cook came up, made a great interception, waited, watched Trent Green's eyes, and stepped in front and made a big play for Ohio State.
They'll place it down to the 36, and the Buckeye defense earns the first big play of the ball game from a defensive standpoint. ESPN's College Football Saturday, Ohio State and Indiana, is brought to you by Buick, the new symbol for quality in America, and by Rheem Air Conditioning. Rheem, the air of quality. Wayne Larrivee and Ben Bennett. Everybody's wearing red. Ben, what color tie is that? It's not quite red, is it?
I was trying to be in the spirit as close as I could.
First down for Ohio State off the turnover. As I mentioned, that's the first big play defensively made in the ball game by the Ohio State defense. The interception. The Buckeyes from their 36 and Fry looking deep for Bobby Olive. Float-like coverage provided downfield by Mike Dumas, the all Big Ten safety.
One of the things that you can do when you're a veteran like Dumas is to get away with some things that rookies might not. Dumas, about 15 yards down the field, realized that the wide receiver was running by him and managed to get an elbow into him, knock him off his course, and allow him to catch back up.
2nd and 10 now for Fry and company. Dan Beatty, number 76, the veteran center, only returning starter on this Ohio State line. Not much there for the tailback, Robert Smith. Farrell and Hagan closed well to the ball. 3rd down at about 10.
Since the Super Bowl, when the Washington Redskins and Timmy Smith ran this play so well, every team in college football has picked up what they call counter trade, where you pull both your offside guard and tackle, run your back 2 steps to one side, and run him back the other way. That play didn't go real big that time, though.
3 receivers in the game for Ohio State on 3rd down and passing. Fry. Short of a first down out of the backfield is Robert Smith. Miller and Wardlow on the stop for Indiana, and John Cooper's team will have to punt it away. So an impressive stand by the Hoosier defense. Following the interception.
Hey, Indiana linebacker John Miller is fired up now. He was fired up yesterday when we talked to him during the headshots. Well, I thought he was going to run after and hit somebody right then.
A look at Rob Turner. Coleman gets his kick away. Turner, fair catch signal, makes the completion at the 13-yard line. First down for Indiana inside the Hoosier 15. Beautiful day in Indiana, and the storyline thus far. A lot of action. We played a little over a quarter. Vaughn Dunbar, 72 yards at a touchdown run. Fry, a 3-yard touchdown pass to Ellis. The rushing yardage. Indiana has done the job getting to the outside and also taking it up the middle. Passing yardage has been slight for both teams, to say the least. First down, Indiana. Goodrich trying to get to the outside. Picked up about 3. Let's get back to the studio and Tim Brando.
And Mississippi is off to a great start, their best since 1970, and the last time they beat Georgia in Athens was in 1970 when Archie Manning was quarterback. They are leading 14-3. Their most recent touchdown, a run scored by Randy Baldwin. Let's get back to Wayne and Ben.
All right, thank you, Tim. How old were you in 1970, Ben Bennett? You must have been in diapers back then, huh?
I was sporting that big 8.5 then.
Second down for Indiana. 2nd and about 8. Ernie Thompson picking his way. Reaches out to the 19-yard line on a gain of about 4. Ryan Cook made the stop. He's had an outstanding first half of play defensively for Ohio State. Indiana off to a 4-0 start for the 4th time in school history. Under Mallory, 85 and 86. 2 years that the Hoosiers got off to great starts. 67 was their Rose Bowl team.
And the big difference in Indiana this season and in past seasons is that they have a good defense to complement a very potent offense this season.
Athletic ability on defense, good speed on defense for Indiana. 3rd down. Green on the option. Dunbar got the first down to the 25. Vinnie Clark supported from his cornerback spot.
This is designed to be a pitch to the tailback all the way. You see the fake to the fullback is just token. That's so Cal Miller can lead Dunbar to the outside. Makes a good block. Dunbar knows exactly how far he's got to go and puts his head down to pick up the first down.
Dunbar's had a busy afternoon thus far. We still have over 10 minutes to go first half. A very productive one indeed. First down. Dunbar shredding the defense for about 5 out to the 30-yard line. Frimmel and Ken Coleman on the stop for Ohio State.
Wayne, we saw this early and we haven't seen it since, but I can promise you're going to see it at some point later in the game. When you're running the football as effectively as Indiana is right now, the secondary is forced to make a lot of tackles. That leaves them very susceptible to play action and then the long pass over their heads.
2nd and 5. Green. Quick toss to the sidelines, and Thomas and Clark had it pretty well covered, and the pass was off the mark.
Well, Trent Green has a bad case on that play of what's known in the quarterbacking circles as tunnel vision. When you stare down your receiver, everybody on the field knows exactly who you're throwing it to. If you're going to do that, you have to deliver the ball right away. Trent Green took a little hesitation step once he got back to the top end of his drop, threw the ball late, and was lucky that one didn't get picked off.
3rd down, about 5. Green screens it out to Dunbar, gets a good block. He's got the first down to the 36-yard line. Thurman and Cook team up on the stop.
I think it's going to depend on the spot whether they got the first down. This is a good call on 3rd and 5. Your quarterback hasn't been throwing the football well down the field, so run a little screen play. Get the football in the hands of your best player, who is Vaughn Dunbar, and get some people out in front of him.
A lot of people here don't like the spot of the ball, Ben. You're right. It's going to be close one way or the other. First down, not by much. Bill Mallory, a sigh of relief perhaps on the sidelines. What a job he has done here. You know, Indiana says basketball. It's just another way of spelling college basketball, but he has taken a football program that was essentially dormant since the late 60s, and he has brought it back to powerhouse type status. And in that this is a program they're still building, but in the last 3 of the last 4 years, they have been a factor in the Big Ten race.
Take a guess who was the prime reason why he got here.
Green off play action, deep. Turner's all alone. Good cutback. Turner's going all the way. Touchdown.
See Rob Turner, the big play receiver. This is what he does best. We had spoken earlier about play action. It left Pelini back there all by himself. And look at the block right at the end by Thomas to spring him. You can see him thanking him right there. Rob Turner says, hey, I couldn't have done it without you, partner.
Fennell for the point after. Indiana has has exploded onto the scoreboard and built a 10-point lead with 9:16 left to go. First half. Rob Turner, man of the moment. Wide open on a big 65-yard touchdown reception, capping a 7-play, 83-yard drive.
A very happy young man, and this is why. Watch the play action up the middle. They look like they're going to option. Pelini was left back all by himself to cover both Rob Turner and Eddie Thomas. And watch Thomas with the big boom right there at the end. Turner had already picked up good yards, but I don't think he'd have made it into the end zone without the help of Thomas.
Scott Fidel set to restart the game. Raymond Harris on the far side. Dante Lee on the near side. Lee into the end zone. Told to stay there with it by Harris. Let's head back to the studio. Tim Brando. Tim?
Ryan Mahalko, the backup fullback for Lou Holtz, has a couple of block punts today against the Air Force. The most recent one here would give Notre Dame the ball at the 2. Dorsey Levens, the youngster out of upstate New York, coming off an injury a year ago, has a 2-yard run. Notre Dame leads the Falcons 10-0. Back to Wayne and Ben.
All right, thanks, Tim. First down now from the 20-yard line for Ohio State. Buckeyes are trailing by 10. Fry off play action to Smith. The sideline route, Jeff Graham was turned around a bit by that pass and couldn't quite hang on. Most Richardson the coverage on the far side. Scoring drive, 87 yards and 7 plays, and Rob Turner on the receiving end of a 65-yard touchdown bomb from Trent Green.
One of the interesting things so far, Wayne, both of these teams are what's considered the classic Big Ten conservative type offense. But both of them have showed so far that conservative type offense with one block or one missed tackle can put a lot of yards under the belt or a lot of points on the board.
2nd and 10 Buckeyes. Ryan Stabline. Your picture right there, bottom of your screen. Scotty Graham for about 5 out to the 25-yard line. John Miller, the interior linebacker, on the stop for Indiana. We mentioned Indiana, not a big team. A lot of the people playing up front in the defensive front 7 for Indiana started their careers in the defensive secondary.
It's amazing the progression of events. You put on 20 pounds, you move to the next level. You put on 10 more, and you move to a down lineman spot.
3rd and 5. Fry, make that Graham in motion, and Fry over the middle to Olive. Bobby Olive picks up yardage across the 40-yard line near the 42. Ane and Miller on the stop. Loomis had a shot at him but missed him.
The scouting report on Bobby Olive says he has quick feet, sure hands, and he's hard to tackle in the open field. You're about to see all 3 of those. Sure hands, hard to tackle in the open field, quick feet.
They mark it to the 42 of Ohio State. First down, Buckeyes. Stabline's in motion. Robert Smith. Hoosiers flow to the football well. Little or no gain, and in fact they may have lost a half yard. Chris McCoy got out front of the play on the offensive line. Report from the sideline on tight end Jeff Ellis, who caught a 3-yard touchdown pass for Ohio State score this afternoon. Did not put weight on that injured knee at the moment, and they're going to continue to check, see if they can maybe get him in shape to play the second half, get him ready for the second half perhaps. I don't know though, if you can't put weight on that leg, I don't know how you can play in the second half. 2nd down and 10. Fry fumbles the snap, and it's up for grabs. Picked up by Robert Smith, who's decked by Miller. Back inside the 35. It's a loss of about 7 as they place it down to the 35-yard line.
This is one of the most frustrating things, whether you're a quarterback or a head coach, is a fumbled snap from quarterback and center. That's the first thing that has to happen on every play. Look at Miller break through the line and get in there almost getting fumbled, but not quite getting there, but making the tackle. This is a guy that's fired up for this football game this afternoon.
Third down at about 17. Motion from Olive. Fry on the roll. Olive tried to make a one-hand catch. He had Mose Richardson zeroing in, and he would have been short of the first down anyway.
And although he went up for it with one hand, you could see on the way back down, he turned his head to find out where Richardson was.
So Jeff Bowman is on once again in punt formation. Came in averaging 41 yards a kick. He's had 2 blocked this year. Rob Turner, very productive punt returner and wide receiver. Bowman just did get it away. Turner from the 19. Out to about the 28-yard line. Return of about 9 yards. We'll be back. Just beyond the rim of the football stadium, that is Assembly Hall, home of the Indiana Hoosier basketball program. It is a sensational day in Indiana for college football. Temperature expected to reach up to about 70 degrees. Sunshine and beautiful. First down for the Hoosiers, who will lead it by 10 from the 28 of Indiana. Rob Turner in motion. Ernie Thompson nailed by Jason Simmons, and an outstanding defensive play back near the 25. There's Coach Bill Mallory. Great influence in his career. Well, he spent 3 years on the staff with Woody Hayes at Ohio State.
He had a lot of influence, without a question. He was a great man and a great coach. I learned tremendous, great deal from Woody. I think probably of all things, he was a dedicated person to the profession, a hard worker, and a lot of other things too rubbed off. And I can't say enough about the opportunity to work for him for those 3 years.
Vaughn Dunbar escapes out to the 35-yard line on a gain of a quick 10 yards. Foster Falk and Mark Bopolini make the tackle.
The thing that impresses me about Dunbar is the way he makes people miss tackles without ever really having to get off his north and south path. It's effortless the way he makes guys go to the wayside. He uses a little stiff arm here, a little dead leg there, but he manages to make quite a few people miss him, and he makes it look easy.
Dead leg, is that sort of like a wooden leg?
It's a leg you can't ever keep hold of.
They're down at about 3. Hal Miller will not get this first down. Ohio State has struggled defensively on 3rd down defense. Matter of fact, defense gave up 9 of 16 third down conversions to Illinois last week. USC 2 weeks ago was successful on 10 of 14 third down tries, but here they stop Indiana short of the mark. Cook and Coleman on the tackle, and it's 4th down punting situation. Jeff Graham back in single safety. Necky Smith's punt. Good leverage into this kick. Graham dancing across the 25. Graham out to the 35-yard line. Outstanding return to set up the Buckeyes in good field position from the Ohio State 35. Let's get down to our sideline reporter, David Furt.
Thank you, Wayne. And, well, just what does this Hoosier homecoming mean? Well, last night they had a carnival, a parade. There was even a Kiss the Piglet contest. Today, the stadium, it's sold out. It's been sold out since July. And it's interesting to note that Indiana is 0-7 versus Ohio State in homecoming games. Let's go back upstairs to Wayne and Ben.
All right, David. Kiss the Pig contest?
Weren't you 3 years running champion on that one?
Do a lot of different types of things at homecoming, don't you?
I got you before you got me.
Yeah. Robert Smith tied up near the line of scrimmage. John Cooper wanted a face mask penalty. Miller and Hagan on the tackle. Of course, David Furch joining our crew today as a journalism student, a junior here at IU, and again at ESPN. We're certainly interested in supporting the journalism programs of schools we cover, the Big Ten Conference, and certainly they have great journalism school here as well as other stops along the Big Ten trail.
I don't know about you, Wayne, but I don't mind finding some guys with a little talent, but I don't want to find a whole bunch with a lot.
We just may. 2nd and 10. Fry. State line, couldn't hang on. I think he was out of bounds anyway, Ben.
Well, the key there, though, is that he was shoved out of bounds, and if you're shoved out of bounds, you can come back in.
Let's see if we can pick it up. Top of your screen.
Greg, and the adjustment is the fade up the sidelines. That was a very catchable ball. Greg Fry threw the ball on the line. Save line just couldn't hang on to it. He would have been close.
He was tight-roping the sidelines. Not quite out. 3rd down and 10. This Indiana defense has been tough on 3rd downs here in this first half. Fry under a blitz. Gets it away to Olive. Nicely done to the first down. A gain of 11 out to the 46. Wardlow forced him out. Ane was coming hard on the blitz.
We mentioned earlier about Bobby Olive. Runs good routes, quick feet, and has sure hands. He also has good field presence. Look at how he puts both feet together as soon as he catches the football to ensure being inbounds, and also had the field awareness to know how far he had to go to get the first down.
3:20 to go, first half of play. Indiana leading by 10, 17-7. First down Buckeyes, Ohio State 46. Robert Smith into Indiana territory, steered out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Hagan and Dumas force him to the chalk marks. Timeout taken by the Big Ten official, Jim Kimmerly.
We were talking about Dumas during the opening about the kicks that he's blocked. One of the things that we haven't talked about is that last year he was an all Big Ten cornerback. The Indiana coaches felt that he could be best utilized not only with his athletic ability, but to help stop the big plays. Last year, Indiana gave up quite a few long runs and some big passes. They felt that Dumas, his talent wasn't really being used at the strong corner. So they moved him to free safety. He stopped a lot of big plays, and he's still got all Big Ten potential. This guy is a big-time player right here.
Mike Dumas. Meanwhile, Mark Hagan has come out. Matt Eganoff has gone into the lineup for Indiana. Hagan shaken up on that last play. 2nd down and about 3 for Ohio State. Raymond Harris got about 2 to the 45 and no farther. Coming up at halftime, we'll head back to our studio. Tim Brando, Days In halftime report. Tim Brando and Lee Corso with all the scores and highlights on what we hope for you is a thoroughly enjoyable day of college football. This is the start of a triple header on ESPN here today and tonight. 3rd down and about a yard for Ohio State. Harris drives Hagan forward for what appears to be a Buckeye first down at the Indiana 43. John Cooper steps off a sigh of relief. Miller and Hagan on that tackle.
Indiana, in certain situations on the goal line and on short yardage plays, has been gambling. They've been bringing a weak corner blitz and leaving Graham all by himself out there, hoping against hope that Ohio State has a running play called, because if they don't, if they throw anything to Graham, there's no one around him.
1st and 10 at the Hoosier 43 for the Buckeyes. Fry off play action, lots of time. Jeff Graham makes the tough catch and pays for it. Mike Dumas laid him out inside the 30 near the 26-yard line. First down, Ohio State Buckeyes on a 17-yard gain. And yes, Jeff Graham is thoroughbred quality.
And as soon as you talk about somebody, boy, they're going to step up and do something. This is what Greg Fry does best. He's a great ball handler in the backfield. Waits, anticipates the opening, delivers a ball right on the money to Graham, and look at the hit by Dumas.
Just outside the 25 on a 1st and 10. The delay to Raymond Harris. Gain of about 8 yards down to the 18-yard line.
Raymond Harris, coming off a 118-yard performance last week against Illinois, considered one of the best defensive squads in the country.
Second down. Looks to be about 3 yards coming up. Second down and 3. 8 of 7 on that previous play. Minute 24 to go in the half. Fullback getting the call on that carry. Not a whole lot there. Maybe a yard or two. Scotty Graham got the carry. A timeout taken by Ohio State with a minute 12 to go. Honeycutt made the stop. John Cooper and company will talk things over as Tim Williams gets set for what might be a field goal or extra point opportunity. Okay. Then third and short now for Ohio State. 2 timeouts remaining for the Buckeyes.
Interesting situation. Do you go for the sure first down, or do you try some play action and maybe go for the end zone?
Raymond Harris goes for the sure first down inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line. On a gain of 3, maybe 4 yards. Hagan and Mason team up on the stop.
Good call, because they pick up the first down. There's still a minute and 8 seconds left, and in college football, a first down stops the clock until the chains are moved.
John Cooper looks on anxiously. Robert Smith. Mason out in front of the play. Makes the tackle for Indiana. Decking Smith for a loss back outside the 15.
Mason is another one of those players that's moved around quite a bit. They've moved him to utilize his athletic ability. He started out as a defensive back, moved to tailback, and last moved to linebacker, where he's making an impact so far.
Second and 12. Buckeyes loss of 2 in the previous play. Graham just short of the goal line.
Now that's a shame right there, because he was in the end zone, came back to catch the football, and caught the football on the goal line and fell out. This is a crossing pattern. He comes all the way from the wide side of the field. You see him diving back. He looks like he could be in the end zone, but when he comes back down, he's out of the end zone. Boy, that's a tough call right there.
What about breaking the plane to the goal?
That's, again, if you're not right on the goal line, that's a very difficult angle to see. We have a camera down there, so we can see it real well. But these are the referees that are running around trying to get in position, watching all sorts of things. They don't have the luxury of the angle that we do. You can see he looks like he's in the end zone right there. His knee hits just inside the goal line, but when he hits the ground, the ball is outside of the end zone.
When that knee hit down, it looked like the ball at that point was outside the end zone.
And it's real easy to sit up here with super slow motion and make all the calls. These referees, for the most part, do a tremendous job of picking up calls most of the times that we don't see until we look at the replay.
No question about it. They do a great job, especially in this conference. 21 seconds to go in the half. Indiana is leading 17-7, and Ohio State is at the doorstep. Heck, they've got the key in the lock.
I don't think there's any big secret where they're going to go with the football right now.
Harris is the tailback. Scotty Graham. Touchdown.
As Scotty Graham scores that touchdown, we ought to mention somebody who's a very prominent figure on this Ohio State team that's not here, and that's Carlos Snow. Scotty Graham was the second leading rusher on the team last year behind Carlos Snow, and has dedicated this season to him. That's a good way to say, hey, buddy, we remember you.
18 seconds left to go in the half. Tim Williams for the point after. This to bring Ohio State back to within 3. 13 plays, 68 yards. Took just 3 minutes and 57 seconds off the clock, and with 18 seconds to go in the half, it's a 3-point Indiana lead.
Like I said, all the beauty of football leaves once you get down inside the 10-yard line, and it's just guts and power. And Graham absolutely has plenty of power once he gets down inside. This is a guy that's only 5'10", but weighs 220 pounds, has a 430-pound bench press, and 4.45 speed. That's an odd-sized package. Boy, let me tell you, it's efficient once you get down close.
He is no stranger to success against Indiana. Had 124 yards rushing against the Hoosiers last year.
Last season, he also scored 10 touchdowns, which will let you know he's the go-to guy once they get down close.
Be interesting to see what the kicking strategy will be here for Ohio State.
I think with 18 seconds left, you don't want to give their return guys a chance to set up the blocking and get up the field and possibly get a field goal. I think you got to squib it here, knock it down, let a fullback pick it up, maybe the linebacker, and hope that they make a mistake.
Goodrich is at the bottom of your screen, and Vaughn Dunbar is back deep on the other side, and both have excellent speed. Indiana has 3 timeouts remaining. Tim Williams, number 23. Set to restart the game for the final 18 seconds of the first half. Squib kick, picked up by the upback, Cal Miller at the 25. Miller's going to get him good field position. Out across the 40 near the 42-yard line. 12 seconds remaining to be played now. Craig Griffey, the son of Ken Griffey, made the stop of the play. 13 plays, 65 yards on that scoring drive, and Scotty Graham punched it in from a yard away. Timeout taken by the Hoosiers here. As Bill Mallory and company talk things over. You know, you started to mention that Coach Mallory, we were talking about the different influences in his career. Bobby Knight is the reason, or one of the reasons, Bill Mallory came to Indiana when the job opened up. After Sam Weiss left, Ben, you started to tell us that, again, it was Bobby Knight who called Bill Mallory and told, hey, listen, we've got an opening over here. You got to check this out.
And Mallory was actually close to taking the University of Cincinnati job. He had been offered that. Talked to Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight convinced him that this would be a good place, and should he bring the football program back around, the possibilities were endless. So far, Bill Mallory has done a superior job here.
Coming up later this weekend, tomorrow, matter of fact, ESPN, of course, is the first and last word for your football Sundays, NFL Game Day and NFL Primetime. Game Day at noon Eastern, Primetime at 7 p.m. Eastern. Give you a recap of the day's events. Coming up tomorrow here on ESPN. Situation now, Indiana 2 timeouts remaining. They have it first down to the Hoosier 42-yard line. Indiana leading 17-14. We have 12 seconds left to go in this first half of play.
Well, I think right now you got to take a shot at way down the field. I don't think you can dink them or screen them, because I really don't think you're going to have time to set up. You got to launch this baby and hope one of your guys comes up with it.
Trent Green. Pass undershot the intended receiver, Todd Walker. Mark Pelini had the coverage. Still 6 seconds remaining.
One of the things that you gain with experience is the ability to anticipate a receiver coming open. Trent Green hasn't played an awful lot of football. He's thrown 10 passes last year and only 55 coming into this game this year. He still is hesitant to let the ball go before the receiver breaks open.
2nd and 10. That's McGowan to the bottom of your screen. Vaughn Dunbar. Got about a yard, maybe, and that ends the first half of play. The ebb and flow has had Indiana riding on top most of the way, but Ohio State.
He really sees it lead to the big plays. A broken coverage, a missed tackle, a poor pursuit angle. You'll see right here the linebacker gets cut off and leads to a 71-yard run. Just to the right of your screen, you'll see the classic angle cut off, and watch the speed of Smith. He's flying up the sidelines. Middleton has a big angle on him, and he almost outruns Middleton. Middleton makes a great play. Another little mistake. One of the free safeties bites up on the play action fake, allowing Rob Turner to run past him up the sidelines. The important thing on this play, watch the little assist from Thomas at the end. Turner's got a big gain. Boom, now he's got a touchdown.
Take a look at the stats of the first half of play. Look at that rushing yardage. Indiana, a smaller team, has hung in very well and held their own and then some against Ohio State. The one turnover by Indiana. The passing, not much of a factor in this ball game thus far. It's been big plays on the ground. There have been a couple of big plays through the air, but for the most part, it's been a typical Big Ten type game. They've gone at each other on the ground for the most part. Indiana, the 8th ranked rushing team in the nation, on way to a 300-yard rushing afternoon. Indiana kicking to Ohio State to start the second half. Dante Lee, the sophomore, deep into the end zone, and he'll stay there with it. Ohio State will start it. First down to the 20-yard line. Ohio State led by their veteran quarterback, Greg Fry, who's played well here today.
Talking with the coaches from Ohio State yesterday, they think that Greg Fry in the last 6 quarters of football has finally come back to the type of quarterback that they believe he can be. Although he had 4 interceptions last week, only one of them was critical and was made because he had a bad decision.
Fry, the senior from Cincinnati, 4th all-time in the OSU passing list. Robert Smith. Again, good pursuit to the ball by Indiana. Dave Ane. Begin from the secondary. John Miller from the linebacking corps collaborate on the stop.
And Ane is getting up very slowly. He had bodies roll into his legs. You see the little limp there. Actually, it's also John Miller.
John Miller shake it up.
Ane and Miller both limping a little bit.
Pick up of a yard on that play. Bill Mallory looks on from the Indiana sidelines. He had some great teams at Colorado back in the early 70s, Ben. Second down. Robert Smith. Boy, made a good cutback move out to the 35 for the first down. Farrell and Ane make the stop. He hurdled the defender to pick up an extra 7-8 yards.
Well, if you remember, Wayne, when we talked to Indiana linebacker John Miller yesterday, the thing he said that Fry did best was check off at the line and put him into a good play. That's exactly what Fry did. Smith picks up first down yardage.
A look at his work thus far today. From the Buckeye 35. Play action, Fry. Going for it all to Graham. Touchdown!
You don't draw him up much better than this right here. Fry with a great play fake. Graham with a great pattern. And it all just comes together. Boy, this is beautiful. We mentioned what a good ball handler Fry is. You see him set up. He looked first at the square end. When the safety broke up, he knew Graham would be all by himself in the secondary. Look at the speed to run away from Mose Richardson. Although Richardson's a freshman, he is a super cornerback.
Watch Fry's reaction. He knows it. He's got it. And now it's time to congratulate.
You know, about the only way to describe the feeling of throwing a touchdown pass like that is if you're a golfer and you get out and you know you chop them into the woods, but you hit that one sweet drive about 275 right straight down the middle of the fairway. That's what it feels like.
That quick drive, 65-yard touchdown reception by Jeff Graham has given Ohio State its first lead of the afternoon.
Step up into the pocket. Then you'll see him start to pull his hands apart right there. Then he looks up top and sees that the free safety had broken up to take away the square in which he had hit earlier. Double clutches, throws it over the top. Graham just runs it away.
I mentioned he was a thoroughbred receiver. We've seen him make a tough catch over the middle and take a heck of a hit from Mike Dumas in the first half, yet hang on to get a key first down for Ohio State. You see him make the pretty catch. Right there, the painless catch, let me say.
And to tell you what a great athlete this guy really is, for 2 years, he was all-state in both football and basketball. That's not all conference, that's not all city. That's all state in 2 sports, 2 years.
Jeff Graham on the left of your screen, number 8, Bobby Olive, make quite a tandem in the Ohio State receiving corps. This receiving corps for Ohio State, Graham and Olive, Stabline and Edwards, many feel is the best group of 4 at wide receiver Ohio State has ever had.
I think they've got an argument there.
Sid Williams getting set to restart the game. That big pass play has put a hush over this homecoming crowd here in Bloomington. Williams, short kick, but good leverage into it. Goodrich looking up into the sun, muffs it. Goodrich recovers and gets about 6 yards out near the 20-yard line. Steve Goodrich, a sophomore from University City, Missouri. Cedric Sanders made the stop on the play.
You know, Wayne, coaches throughout the years have always coached again and again and again. The first 3 minutes of the second half set the tone for the rest of the game. That's any indication the first minute and 20 seconds, Ohio State's going to be on fire. Indiana needs to counter with a good time-sustaining drive here.
First down from the 20. On Dunbar. Big hole up the middle. Jim Peel and Bo Pelini on the stop. Gain of 13 yards.
Or, like we said, they need to hang on to the ball and grind out some clock, or they can give it to Von Dunbar and let him go 80 yards. Again, credit the offensive line. Schneider, Newton, Mack, Fiacable, and Harper, because they are knocking open some big holes.
And Fiacable getting the start in the strong guard position in place of Jim Hannon, who was injured, suffered a knee injury this week in practice. And got an injured player down to the field for Ohio State.
It's Pelini.
Yep.
And when we talked to defensive coordinator Bill Young, he was talking about Pelini, and this is a guy that really wants to hit you, but he's a little stiff when he hits you, and subsequently, he suffered a lot of injuries. This fella, in order, has had a broken jaw, a broken collarbone, and a dislocated shoulder, among other minor nagging injuries. But it's also important to mention, while he's down, this is what college football is all about. This kid is a 3-time Big Ten academic All-American. Ooh, you can see Pelini get squished underneath his own man, and it looked like his shoulder got taken out of joint just a little bit. You can see his right arm is not moving. At the end of the replay, as he hit the ground, it looked like his arm got knocked back up into his shoulder.
Roger Harper goes in at free safety. He's a freshman out of Columbus. You know, we've seen for the most part, Ben Bennett, a Big Ten type game, kind of conservative, but we have also seen on 3 or 4 instances some big plays in the passing game as well as the running game.
That's what happens. When you run good, sound offense, eventually something big is going to happen for you.
First down, Hoosiers at the 32 of Indiana. Thompson has that good speed to get to the corner. Harper and Walton over to make the stop, forcing him out of bounds to the far side.
We talked about this a lot in the first quarter. When you hear the name Thompson, you expect him to be banging up inside. Well, that's in years past Indiana football running game. Now, when you hear the name Thompson and you hear the name Steve Goodrich and Von Dunbar, they're bouncing people outside. Watch the face mask at the very end get grabbed there.
No penalty called, though.
No call.
5. Second and 5.
Got away with one.
Dunbar, not much there. Maybe a yard. Williams made the stop. There is Bo Pelini on the sidelines. He wants to go back in, and he's going to.
Wayne, that's the great thing about college athletics. These kids want to play football. They want to play basketball. Sometimes they might play through injuries, but these are the guys that you want on your team that you just can't keep off of the field.
It's a 3rd down and 4. Gowan in motion. Would have been a real tough catch for Rob Turner. That pass turned him around right into the coverage of Vinnie Clark.
And that's an interesting call in that we talked to George Ballou, and he said that Green doesn't have the strength to throw that pass effectively, and yet they've run it 3 different times today.
Ohio State, Jeff Graham, number 84.
Mackie Smith on in punt formation. Senior from Kokomo, Indiana. Had a good day thus far. Jeff Graham in single safety for Ohio State. This one sails out of bounds. Out beyond the 30-yard line. Ohio State will put it in play from its 32 when we return. Larrabee, Ben Bennett. That's a look at the Ohio State offense led by Greg Fry. Been a super ball game on a gorgeous day for college football here in Indiana. Hoosiers led much of the first half. Ohio State grabbing the lead in dramatic fashion. 65-yard touchdown pass at the outset of the third period. Now the Buckeyes first down of the Ohio State 32. Robert Smith, big hole. Got about 11 yards out of that as the Hoosiers close quickly. Dumas and Honeycutt. Dumas from the secondary. Let's get down to the sidelines and David Furch. Dave?
Thank you, Wayne. A couple of injury updates. Ohio State's Jeff Ellis, who caught that touchdown, will not return. He has a sprained ankle. On Indiana's side, Mike Middleton also has a sprained ankle. He will not return. Ironically, Middleton a couple of weeks ago went down with a heart spasm. He collapsed, was hospitalized, but it's not the case this time. It's an ankle injury for Mike Middleton. Let's go back upstairs now, Wayne and Ben.
Give to the fullback on the belly play up the middle. Scotty Graham doing the tough work inside for Ohio State out to the 46, maybe 47, gain of 3 or 4. Hagan and Beauchamp on the stop.
Well, I already give David my vote of confidence. He's learned to throw it back up to Wayne and Ben. He's a killer.
Well, you were coaching him on that, I know, last night. There's a look at Middleton right there. Crutches. Second down and 6, gain of 4 in the previous play. Fry on the toss to the tailback. Smith tripped up in the backfield, short of the first down out to the 50-yard line. Let's head back to the studio for an update on Tim Brando.
Tradition, rivalry, Penn State, Syracuse, Lambert Trophy ramifications. Tony Sacca gets away from trouble and finds a Maven touchdown. 7-0. Penn State with the lead over Syracuse.
Thank you, Tim. 21-17 here. About 11 minutes to go. Third period. Third down, Ohio State. About 4. Graham in motion. Fry drills that pass to a first down. Stabline, the sure hands in that receiving core. The sophomore from Erie, Pennsylvania on the reception underneath the coverage of Dave Anay.
Greg Fry showing good patience here to wait till Stabline gets between linebackers and delivers the ball right on the money. Stabline made a great catch.
First down to the 34-yard line of Indiana. Ohio State leading by 4. Raymond Harris was met by a posse at the line, may have lost a yard. Paul Williams led the way from his nose tackle position for Indiana. He was the first to arrive on the scene. Second down and 11 coming up. Ben, the more you watch the second half especially, the more you get the feeling the power of Ohio State may be wearing down the smaller Hoosiers. At least at this point it appears that way.
And you almost feel like that 12th man, old Bo Menem, has put on an Ohio State Buckeye jersey right now. Things are really moving well for them.
Second and 11. Raymond Harris brought down close to the first down to the 25-yard line. Appeared he got 10 yards. He's about a yard short. Dumas made the stop from his free safety position.
The offensive line, the size and strength you mentioned, you can see him just moving Indiana out of the way. Raymond Harris, after the big week last week, picking up right where he left off.
3rd and 1 at Ohio State.
They call Raymond Harris the quiet storm. He doesn't really say much, but boy, he will strike you like lightning.
As big a third down play for the Indiana defense as it is for the Ohio State offense. First down and more to the 18-yard line. Dumas made the stop in the secondary.
A lot of the Ohio State faithful say that Harris reminds them of another great Ohio State back, Keith Byers, now a star with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's got the size at 6'2", 220 pounds, and there's a note on that 220 pounds. He's added 10 of that in the weight room in the offseason. This is a guy that wants to play some football and wants to be a good one.
I think they want him to play football in Columbus for all of 4 years. First down from the 18 for the Buckeyes. Harris again. Inside the 15, down to the 11. Let's head back to our studios for another update in Tim Brandon.
Wayne Chris Kardaki had kicked his 4th field goal for Clemson to pull them to within 2. The ensuing kickoff taken in by Kevin Tisdale. He finds a seam, gets a couple of good blocks. The rest is speed. That would lead to a T.J. Edwards touchdown run. It's 21-12 in the 4th, Georgia Tech. They still have not allowed an offensive touchdown this year. Ben Bennett never played with a defense like that in the ACC.
If he had, Tim, he says he would have won a national championship. Robert Smith on second down. Good pursuit again by the Indiana defense. Where they've been hurt, Ben Bennett, is up the mill, up the gut, so to speak. They've been flowing well to the ball on the sweeps. Hagan and Beauchamp that time responded to the challenge, and it's 3rd down, Ohio State.
Well, we've talked about their tremendous amount of team speed on defense. Speed helps when you're pursuing somebody. You need size and strength when you're trying to stop somebody from running over you. Right now, that's been the difference in the second half.
Another big 3rd down play. 3rd and 3. Play action, Fry. Under pressure now. Pass off the mark at the goal line. Intended for Rich Huffman, the tight end, and he was well covered downfield by Harry Wardlow.
Wardlow did a super job of staying with his man the entire time Fry was scrambling around. That's very difficult to do. If you give a quarterback more than about 3 seconds to throw, receivers normally will break open, and Wardlow battled in the corner the whole time. Watch the amount of time Fry has back here to throw the football. Makes the play fake. He's looking for Graham to the corner, but Graham's covered. He comes back, scrambles around, and looks to the looks. Finally, he throws it. You can see Wardlow tangled up with his man down in the corner.
29-yard field goal by this man, Tim Williams. And he's got it through the uprights, giving the Buckeyes a 7-point lead with 7:14 left to go in the 3rd.
One of the biggest blockbusters of the season is not an action-adventure movie or a sci-fi thriller. In fact, it's not even playing at your local movie theater. It's at your local Subaru dealer. It's the Subaru Blockbuster. Talk about a powerful performance. You can get the Subaru Legacy L Sedan with air conditioning, cruise control, and AM/FM stereo cassette at spectacular savings. The Subaru Blockbuster. This one is a must-see.
Now playing at a Subaru dealer near you.
When you're out street hiking, you better know how to read the terrain. First, trust your instincts. By all means, avoid distractions. Do your best to preserve the wildlife, because street hikers don't just walk, they hike. Fresh shoes.
Sony unleashes V, a brilliant new videotape that draws more color and music out of everything it touches. New Sony V.
When Acura asked if we would design a new tire for the extraordinary NSX, we responded very quickly. Yokohama, where Acura turned.
Representatives here from about 6 different bowls around the country. I have a feeling, regardless of what happens here today, that both of these teams will find their way to postseason play.
If they keep playing the way they played football this afternoon, I don't think there's any question. Both of these very sound fundamental football teams.
Tim Williams' field goal, capping an 11-play, 56-yard drive. Ohio State now leading by a full touchdown, 24-17. Buckeyes, trailed by 10 at one point in the first half of play. Twin safeties back deep to receive this kick from Williams.
Even though to this point it's been all Ohio State, Indiana has to realize they're only a touchdown down. They're one good drive away from being tied.
Well, that last play on third down to the goal line. Pass to the goal line may loom large as Indiana contained Ohio State to just a field goal.
Big emotional burst.
Goodrich muffs it again. Gets it back to the 14-yard line. I'll tell you what, he's looking up into the sun, if I'm not mistaken. That may make it a tougher play than usual. Ryan Cook, the stop for Ohio State. Bill Mallory concerned, obviously, about his return man, who's muffed 2 in a row.
It's hard enough to catch those things when you know you've got 11 guys that are programmed to take your head off of your shoulders. You add in the fact that you've got to look into a glaring sun, it makes it all the more difficult.
14-yard line, Hoosier territory. Indiana trailing by 7. 7:07 to go, third period. Vaughn Dunbar on the delay. Out to the 24-yard line. The secondary to make the stop.
I'm going to tell you something about these hosses up front for Indiana. They are flat knocking Ohio State out of the way. Dunbar's a great running back, but I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people that could run the football well with the holes that he's getting this afternoon.
Jason Mack's done an outstanding job in the middle of that offensive line. He's the center, switched from nose tackle to offense during the two-a-day drills just this fall. Second down and short yardage, less than a yard. Ernie Thompson gets the first down, was looking for a little bit more, but the Buckeyes were there to force him back near the 28, 29-yard line. Pick up on that play of about 4 yards, maybe 5. Lease and Primmel on the stop for Ohio State.
You're about to see the classic linebacker get knocked way out of the way. Tovar stepping up to make the tackle, and Fiacable, who just moved into the lineup this week, knocking him completely out of the play. And that's a good linebacker. He did that too.
Indiana 8th in the nation in rushing, had over 150 yards in the first half. Looked like a false start right there, and then the Buckeyes came off sides. False start offensively, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's going to go against the defense.
Illegal procedure against the offense.
Of course, what do I know?
I didn't expect you to call it on an offense anyway. John Cooper.
Well, actually, what it looked like is it looked like Ohio State jumped.
False start on the offense. Still first down.
And Jason Mack thought about snapping it because he thought they were in the zone and then didn't do it. Defense is allowed to get back.
First and 15. Indiana certainly is a ball control rushing team by nature, but they've shown here today they can hit the big passing plays. From the 24, first and 15. Dunbar fumbles, picked up by the Buckeyes. Jay Cook with the fumble recovery. Second turnover of the ball game for Indiana. And Ohio State will start inside the Hoosier 35.
That is what's known as the punch to the temple that leaves you a little woozy. Again, superior offensive line block, gets through the hole, puts both hands on the football, it just manages to get ripped loose. Now the change in college football this year, if a ball is recovered past the line of scrimmage, you can pick it up and run with it. Big, big break for Ohio State.
Jay Cook ran with it down to the 33-yard line of Indiana. Greg Fry and company leading by 7 points, 24-17. 5:51 to go, third period. Graham, the fullback. Scotty Graham. Up the middle. No relation to the outstanding wide receiver, Jeff Graham. Charles Beauchamp made the stop. There's the turnover story. Ohio State thus far hasn't committed a mistake in that regard.
Well, we talked about the difference between classic mistakes and small mistakes. Both of them lead to big, big plays.
Second and 3, gain of 7 on the previous play. Fry off play action. Stabline and the pass off the mark. Stabline was open. Let's head back to the studios and Tim Brando.
The tie watch continues in Provo. Here is Detmer with his second touchdown aerial to Mike Salido. His second TD pass of the game, 16th of the year. Corso predicted 4 today on College Game Day. He appears to be well on his way. Back to Wayne and Ben.
Well, he got 2 in the first half. He gets 2 more in the second half, and I believe that adds up to 4. I'll check my math with the computer, though.
I'm going to tell you what, Ty Detmer, he is such a pleasure to watch play football if you're a quarterback, because he does so many things so well, and he just does them every single week.
Timeout, Ohio State with 5:11 to go in the third. Two-time Heisman Trophy winning running back at Ohio State. Archie, welcome to the telecast.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Ohio State facing a third down. About 3 yards to go at the Indiana 26. Graham in motion. Fry had to pull it back. He's going to get a first down and more. Out of bounds to the 18-yard line. The breakdown, unable to find an open receiver, and Greg Fry ad-libs for about a 5-yard gain of the first down. Wardlow forced him out.
And that's a great play for Ohio State for 2 reasons. One, nobody was open, and Fry didn't try to force it in. Both times he wanted to throw, he pulled it down. The second part is he manages to pull the football down and scramble ahead for first down yardage. That's a good play right there.
Keeps the Buckeye drive alive at the 18-yard line of Indiana. Ohio State leading by 7, late third period. Fullback Raymond Harris. He is a bull for about 9 yards inside the 10 to the 9.
And what better authority to give us his opinion on running backs than Ohio State superstar Archie Griffin. Archie, tell us a little bit about your impressions about Robert Smith and Raymond Harris.
Well, I think we've got some outstanding running backs out there playing today. Robert Smith, he's a true freshman, and he just does an outstanding job. Great speed, and he can get around the corner. Just does an outstanding job for us.
Second down, short yardage situation. Harris plows forward, gave Chris McCoy a ride. Inside the 10, once again, got back to the line of scrimmage. John Cooper's team facing another third down, this one being a short yardage type situation. Well, Archie, I'll tell you, you look at this day, this kind of a day, what else would anyone want to be doing at a college football game?
There's nothing else to be doing on a beautiful day like it is today. It's just a tremendous weather, and everything's going great right now, especially for the Buckeyes.
Third down at about 2. Graham again in motion. Fry off play action. Fry lets it go over the middle, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for the tight end Rich Huffman, and Fry was under great pressure that time.
Once again, Indiana's defense, with its back up against the wall, comes up with a big play to keep Ohio State out of the end zone. Although Ohio State kicked a field goal last time, and they've got a shot at it here, you're talking the difference between 3 points and 7 points. Back to back, that's an 8-point difference. They're real happy about that.
Tim Williams, number 23. Kicked a 29-yard field goal earlier. This will be about a 27-yard field goal attempt. Straight on kick. And he provides Ohio State with its largest lead of the afternoon. 10 points over the Hoosiers of Indiana. Let's head back to the studios and Tim Brando.
Wayne, take a look at number 58, lined up just off right guard for Georgia Tech in black. Calvin Teagle, 14 touchdowns today. Watch him run up and meet Derek Witherspoon. And the Georgia Tech defense has still not allowed any offensive touchdowns throughout the year. They stopped Clemson. It's 21-12 with under 7 minutes left. The Ramblin' Wreck, the biggest story of the day thus far.
Tell you what, Tim, old Bobby Ross has that thing going well down there. The Ramblin' Wreck is on a tear through the ACC, aren't they?
And it's amazing the turnaround that they've made to go from doormat for so many years in the ACC that now they haven't allowed an offensive touchdown all season. That's saying something. I don't care what league you play in.
Ohio State will be kicking to Indiana when we resume. It's a 10-point lead for Ohio State. Earlier, the Buckeyes in the first half of play trailed by 10 points. A scoring drive covered some 57 yards in 7 plays. Tim Williams with the field goal. Goodrich on the near side. Dunbar on the far side, or right side of your screen, back deep.
Still showing confidence in Goodrich after he's bumped the last 2. He's still back there. Once you fall off the horse, get right back on, I guess.
Now they switch sides. Goodrich goes to the far side. See if Williams makes note of that. I believe he did make an adjustment. And they're going to split kick it. Dunbar. Boy, he just keeps going. Keep those legs going, Archie Griffin. That is the code of the road for a running back. Keep those legs pumping.
It certainly is. And Von Dunbar has done an outstanding job here today. It's amazing his running ability, his quickness. He knows how to hit the hole, and he knows how to get in the open.
That's an interesting perspective of a football game from that distance. We're almost that high. 3:28 to go, third period. Indiana now trailing by 10. Turner in motion. To the outside, Dunbar. Gain of about 9 yards to the 35. Tovar made the stop on the play.
Besides running the football hard, one of the things I'm most impressed with about Dunbar is that he sets up his blocks well, and that's an important facet of being a running back. Of course, I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Well, he sets them up well, and he follows them well. I mean, he knows how to pick the hole once they open up.
Archie, is that an instinct type thing, seeing the hole and going to it?
I think it is. That's not something you can teach.
Second down and 1. Miller moves the pile forward for the first down. Indiana trailing by 10, but it's still 2:43 to go in the third. Not abandoning the game plan by any means. Steve Tovar made the stop there. You get into the fourth period, though, and you're trailing by 10, and then you've got to make some adjustments.
Well, they've shown the big play ability, but they've done it after hammering, and coming up with the big play action. Deep pass.
First and 10, near the 39. Green on play action. Turner is open. 35-yard line of Ohio State. Well, you hammer, and then you bring on the power saw.
I'm going to have to thank Coach Mallory, because as soon as I say something, boy, he puts that baby right in the playbook. You can see the play action fake to Dunbar, which holds the linebackers. Rob Turner running wide open to the core pattern. Good cut. Turns around Tim Walton.
There's Turner on the sidelines, veteran wide receiver. First down to the 35-yard line of Ohio State for Indiana. Trent Green on the option keeps it. Green has to cover that football and picks up a couple of yards inside the 35 to the 33. Alonzo Spellman responding on the tackle. And Archie Griffin, I know you followed Alonzo Spellman's career very closely from your perch in Columbus. This is a very talented young man who's making a move to the defensive line.
Yes, he is very talented, and he's done a very good job today. He's pressured the quarterback, and he's done a good job on the option.
Second down, 8 yards to go now for Indiana. There's Spellman, 99. Dunbar. Simmons made a quick move in the hole to prevent further damage. Dunbar to the 29-yard line.
Well, speaking of your perch in Columbus, tell us a little bit about what you're doing back with the Ohio State family these days.
Well, I'm an assistant athletic director at Ohio State, and I've got responsibilities in external affairs, meaning fundraising and those other types of affairs that are outside the actual operation. Football, basketball, baseball, so forth.
53 seconds to go in the third. Indiana trailing by 10. Third down. Up 4. Dunbar at last last effort may have gotten them the first down. Inside the 25, near the 24. Frimmel on the stop for Ohio State. John Cooper directing traffic again. Doesn't have quite the defense in place that he feels he'll have here in the next couple of years. A legal procedure, the call on Indiana. There was a penalty marker down on that play on the far side.
One of the few yellow hankies we've seen on the green as of this afternoon.
But illegal procedure with 6 men on the line of scrimmage against the offense.
And that's the kind of penalty that hurts more than the 5 yards, because you've got a drive going, you've picked up the first down. Now instead of 1st and 10 inside the 25, you're 3rd and 10 back at the 35.
Coach Mallory not at all happy with that call. So it's down to 3rd down. But now about 9 yards to go.
Well, here's a situation where I think you have to give Trent Green the opportunity to get outside and look short. Although you've got 10 yards to go, you don't have to throw the ball all the way downfield. If you can hit a tight end in the hole, if you can hit a back in the flat, they can turn up and gain the yards that they need for the first down without making Trent Green have to make a risky throw downfield.
Here it is, 3rd down and 9. Green looking around. Nowhere to go with it. Back outside the 40, the 41-yard line. Greg Smith, the nose tackle, finally converged.
The tight end we spoke of, 6'4", 250-pound Todd Walker, trying to work into the middle. Gets down, but you can see he's bracketed. Got a player over the top and a player underneath. And when Green was forced to scramble, he couldn't see anything.
3rd period has come to a close. Archie Griffin, thank you so much for gracing our telecast today.
Well, Wayne, thank you all for having me here. I certainly appreciate it.
When the party of the first part achieves control of 51.
Nation caused productivity to rise an estimated 50.
The manufacturing division is currently operating at full.
A successful reallocation of resources has had a desired.
Occasionally, mergers produce results that individuals would find impossible to produce on their own. State-of-the-art software and servers worthy of it.
Okay, Harry, grab the button. I think we're out of here.
Right.
I want to drink your bag.
Hi, I'm Harry.
So am I.
Well, there you are.
You are not going to believe this.
This Halloween, replenish your Bud supply. Pick up Budweiser, Bud Light, and Bud Dry.
What's your Bud type?
As a kid in business, I learned the meaning of a buck 1 penny at a time. Hey, it was my money, and it still is. So when I need wheels on business today, I go to Thrifty. At Thrifty Car Rental on Chrysler 5th Avenue, safety equipped with an airbag is just $39.95 a day. Who says you can't mix business with pleasure? It's the only way to go.
Thrifty, because it's your money.
Hey, has anybody seen the middleman?
Not here.
No middleman here.
Not here. He's definitely not here.
I think I saw him at a department store.
Hey, has anybody seen a middleman?
You'll never find the middleman at Kuppenheimer because we make all our own suits and pass the savings on to you.
Middleman? I think he played for Miami.
You got to be kidding.
Kuppenheimer, America's #1 value clothier for men.
Sony unleashes V. A brilliant new videotape that captures more color and draws more music out of everything it touches. Whatever you videotape, put more of it on your screen. New Sony V, music and color to the highest power.
Curtis the Buckeye, and Those who have made the trip over from Columbus have a lot to cheer about as we begin the fourth period of play. Ohio State outscored Indiana 13-0 in the third quarter. Indiana forced into punt formation. Mackey Smith is on. Graham back in single safety. Jeff Graham. Mackey Smith going for the corner of the coffin. Not going to get it. So it'll be first down. Ohio State for the 20-yard line when we resume. Let's get down to the sidelines and David Furch. David?
Well, gentlemen, what homecoming telecast wouldn't be complete without an interview with the homecoming queen? This year it's Mikey Bronicky from Downers Grove, Illinois. First of all, congratulations. And I guess what kind of talent does it take to become a homecoming queen?
It's based on scholarship and campus and community involvement.
Now, last night at the parade, and you didn't kiss that pig, did you?
No. I was at the carnival, though. Got kidnapped.
You know, if you kiss that pig, you kiss everyone else that's kissed that pig.
I know. I didn't kiss the pig.
Okay, Mikey Bronicky from Downers Grove, Illinois.
Thank you, David. First down, Ohio State. Robert Smith got about 2, maybe 3 on that play. Mark Hagan made the stop. She mentioned scholarship and involvement in campus life. She also can be touted for beauty. No question about that.
Absolutely. That's college athletics, as well as the homecoming queen. That's a lot of times that gets lost. A lot of these kids, I counted 6 on the Ohio State football team that were members of the academic all Big Ten team. They get involved in their communities. They work with a lot of the kids, but that's not good press, so that never get printed.
Ohio State leading by 10 with a second down at about 7. Fremont Harris gets a block from Klein, but right there to put him away, Charles Beauchamp trailing the play. It'll be third down coming up for Ohio State. Let's head back to the studio and Tim Brando.
Georgia Tech's defense finally wilts. Deshaun Cameron on the option after a Georgia Tech fumble. The storyline here, Georgia Tech's offense not coming through. Sean Jones being stymied in the fourth quarter. Just over 3 minutes left. Georgia Tech still by 2 in a pivotal game. Back to Wayne and Ben.
Tough game down there in the ACC.
I tell you, Clemson reminds me so much of Oklahoma because they just have waves and waves and waves of tremendous athletes.
3rd and 6 Buckeyes from the 24 of Ohio State. Pride, good protection. Off the hands of Bernard Edwards, who appeared to have the coverage of Mark Hagan beaten to the middle. 4th down Buckeyes. The Hoosiers trying to hang in. Trailing by 7. Trailing by 10.
Just a subtle note. Mike Dumas ran up into the line and told John Miller, pointed at the running back and said, "That's your man." Miller covered him to the flat. That's where Fry was looking. That's why Dumas is the great player that he is.
Line drive kick to Rob Turner. Turner out across the 45, and Indiana will start in good field position. Rich Huffman made the stop for Ohio State. 13:07 to go.
Look into the sleek design of the Sterling 827 SLI, luxuriously appointed with handcrafted wood, rich in supple Connolly leather. And right now, a Sterling 827 SLI is a most prudent investment. British performance and athletic handling with the finest, most affordable financing starting at 0%. Or lease a Sterling SLI with maintenance included at no charge. No matter how you look at it, it's time to see what it's like to drive a Sterling SLI.
We are entering a whole new era, the decade of positive change. Around the world, organizations have realized that you cannot intimidate human beings into productivity. The key is to let people do what they do best, whatever way works best for them. At the same time, fundamental principles of mass production give ordinary people access to powerful technology. That which was affordable to the few becomes available to the many. Mass production becomes mass productivity. The Industrial Revolution meets the Age of Enlightenment. The walls have come down. Opportunity has gone up. And your only limits will be the size of your ideas and the degree of your an exciting time to be alive.
ESPN College Football Saturday, Ohio State at Indiana, is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Sony, bringing people the most entertaining ways to entertain themselves. Wayne Larrabee, Ben Bennett, our sideline reporter, David Birch of Indiana out of the journalism school. Ohio State trailed by 3 at the half. They trailed by as many as 10 points in the first half. They outscored Indiana 13-0 in the third period. They enjoy a 10-point lead now. The Hoosiers trying to get right back in it with 13:07 to go in the game. First down, Indiana. Trent Green over the top. Rob Turner!
Holy smokes. Big plays come when you run your offense effectively. Play action has worked all day because Indiana has run the football. Watch the catch. Turner turning all the way around. This is high and behind. This is the hardest catch in the world to make. And then you add in the fact that he's getting pelted as soon as he catches it. Super individual effort.
28-yard gain to go. Ohio State 26. Vaughn Dunbar for about 3. Judah Herman in the middle of that Ohio State defense, along with Ken Coleman on the stop for the Buckeyes. Second down coming up, about 7 yards to go. There's John Cooper.
You know, Wayne, you mentioned Judah Herman. This guy has an amazing statistic. In high school, he had 578 career tackles and a national high school record of 279 in 1 year.
Turner in motion. Cal Miller getting to the outside, not able to turn the corner. Cook was out in front of that play. Brian Cook, and Jason Simmons was also there. Number 91. Loss of about 2. Now making a loss of 1 as they mark it to the 24.
Interesting that they would try to run Cal Miller to the outside. He's not the fullback that has the speed. Ernie Thompson is the player that should be running the football in that situation. Cal Miller much more the banger up in the middle.
We haven't seen much of Ernie Thompson in the second half. Third down, Indiana. Turner in motion. Green with a blitz on. They pick it up well. McGowan now. First down inside the 15 of Ohio State. Foster Park delivered the blow.
When you've got one guy that's been killing you all day, you're going to put a lot of bodies on him. Triple coverage on Turner. You can see in the middle as the ball went zipping past. That leaves single coverage on the outside. You'll see what I'm talking about right here. 1, 2, 3 guys.
Hoosiers pick up a big first down. Just inside the 14-yard line of Ohio State. Indiana trailing by 10. We're early fourth period. Vaughn Dunbar tripped up, I believe, by Ken Coleman as he made his way off the left flank of the offensive line. Gain of about 2, maybe 3 yards. Walton and Pelini were there.
3-yard gain by Dunbar.
There's Bill Mallory. This team, his team right now is in foreign territory in terms of game situation this year, Ben.
Well, in their previous 4 games, they've been way out in front, and they haven't really had to gut it up in the fourth quarter. Now they're down 10 points against the best team that they've played this year. This is going to be a real gut check right here.
Second down. Dunbar inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Alonzo Spellman on the interior portion of that Ohio State front line made the stop. Third down again coming up for Indiana.
It was interesting for me to see how impressed Archie Griffin was with both of these running backs, and especially Vaughn Dunbar. And when a player of his magnitude, with 2 of those little bronze football players on his mantle, is impressed with a player, that's saying something.
Third down. Third and about 4 on the option. Trent Green Covered up just outside the 6. They've still got a long 2.5, almost 3 yards to go to that first down. Frimmel and Herman make the stop.
Tough decision right here. Think you're going to have to call. Well, there it is. I get ready to say you have to call timeout to think it over.
9:25 to go. Cooper and company leading Mallory and friends by 10.
When judgment comes, I will be ready. I will be ready. When judgment comes, I will be ready.
James Buster Douglas, Evander Holyfield for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Brought to you by the undisputed king of beers. Budweiser presents The Moment of Truth. October 25th at the Mirage, Las Vegas.
Look into a Sterling motor car, luxuriously appointed with handcrafted wood, rich in supple Connolly leather. And right now, a Sterling is a most prudent investment. Decidedly British luxury and performance with the finest, most affordable financing, starting at 0%. Or lease a Sterling with maintenance included at no charge. No matter how you look at it, it's time to see what it's like to drive a Sterling.
I mean, who wants to eat bait?
Wasn't he the guy that got his head cut off? What are crumpets?
Come on, you wimp. Come on.
At Days, we've got what you need, including great rooms, great value, at over 1,000 great locations. And that's the honest truth.
Bill Mallory on the left, John Cooper on the right. Mallory's Hoosiers facing a 4th down, a good 2.5 yards to go to that first down.
Easily the biggest play in Indiana's season thus far.
From the 6-yard line of Ohio State.
I wonder if they'll try to draw him off sides.
Dunbar, touchdown!
And say what a great call that was, but it was an interesting call in that it wasn't a smash mouth play. It was actually a delay to the tailback.
Scott Fennell has the extra point through the uprights. The Hoosiers have scored for the first time in this second half.
You can see right off the ball, they didn't attack. They kind of set up and then went after him. It was a delayed draw to the tailback, and look at the power to get into the end zone by Vaughn Dunbar. But see, the lineman just stood up just a little bit. Cal Miller was on the attack with another great block, which opened it up. And Dunbar just powered the football into the end zone.
Second touchdown of the game for Vaughn Dunbar. 9:21 left to go, and it's back to a 3-point ball game in favor of Ohio State.
Boy, I tell you, we keep talking about unsung heroes in the line. This fella, Cal Miller, boy, what a super block. This is a guy that is just, he's a battering ram. That's all you ask him to do for the most part of the game. He's happy to do it, and boy, he has laid some key blocks today.
Dante Lee, talented running back, sophomore for Ohio State, back deep.
Hey, by the way, Pat Bill Mallory on the back, he showed a heck of a lot of confidence in his offensive bunch.
And they got it done. 27-24, Ohio State by 3. Fennell's kickoff carrying to Dante Lee deep. And sails out of the end zone. Let's head back to the studio for an updated Tim Brando.
Chris Gardocki kicked a 57-yarder last week, had 4 today, trying for a 5th and the victory against Georgia Tech. He comes up 2 yards shy. Mark it down. The date, November 3rd, Georgia Tech to meet Virginia. They're a contender, not a pretender. The gauge by which greatness is measured in the ACC beat Clemson. They did.
Good for old Bobby Ross. I knew him when he was a coach on Marv Levy's staff at Kansas City. Great to see him doing well down there.
And I'm going to tell you, anytime you beat Clemson, I don't care whether you beat them at home or away, you're beating a very talented football team. Georgia Tech has got themselves an absolute contender this year.
Ohio State offensively, 1st and 10. Fry and company lead by 3. Robert Smith out to the 25, gain of 5.
Thus far, Indiana, both offensively and defensively, has responded to the situation that they're in. They're down 10 points in the 4th quarter. Right now, they're doing everything they need to do. They have one big plus on their side. They have 54,000 people to help keep them up.
Senior quarterback, Greg Fry. Ducks in under another senior. Dan Beatty is center. 2nd and 5. Raymond Harris tripped up in the backfield. Struggles forward for 2 to the 27. And again, the Hoosiers showing a lot of pursuit to the ball. John Miller closed well. A sea of red here in Bloomington on a sun-splashed afternoon.
And what a perfect time to hear the theme song from Jaws. This is suspense at its very best. 4th quarter, Big Ten showdown, 8 minutes left, 3-point difference, 3rd and a long 3. Big play for both teams.
From the Buckeye 27. Fry may be checking off at the line. Looking to the air under pressure. Farrell on the blitz. Honeycutt from the defensive line.
The key to this whole play is they showed blitz and backed out of it. They made Greg Fry audible. Then they got all kinds of pressure all over him. Farrell, Honeycutt, the whole crew, they're all going after him for everything they're worth. Big defensive series right there for Indiana.
Jeff Bowman out at punt formation. Rob Turner is the deep back. Bowman, good leverage and distance into this one. Turner backing up to his 22. Turner to the 35 before being turned away by Steve Tovar. Indiana trailing by 3 on homecoming with 6:54 left to go in the game. Has it 65 yards away.
The Hoosier faithful still very fond of Lee Corso.
Lee had a brief tenure here.
I tell you, Lee Corso, and I would say this about him even if he weren't working for ESPN. No matter where you go, wherever he's been, people are really like Lee Corso. He's just the type of guy that people care about once they meet him.
First down, Hoosier, 35-yard line. Green still has it. Turner. Appeared to go through his hands. He had Pelini, and Tim Walton screened him at the last second.
This right here could have been the straw that broke the camel's back. A great play fake. You can see Walton is still looking back at the ball. Oh, Turner could have had that one. A difficult catch. But you can see Walton, until the last minute, was looking at the play fake and tried to grab Rob Turner. That was almost a big play right there.
It was Pelini that got an arm in the air that may have screened the receiver, Rob Turner. 2nd and 10 Hoosiers now. Dunbar reads to the outside. Vaughn Dunbar, first down and then some on about a 14-yard gain, and Pelini in the secondary made the stop. Indiana in business at the Hoosier 49.
How about them Devils?
Ohio State is 7-0 when playing the Indiana Harper and company leading by 3 with 6:40 to go. Fourth period of play.
But it's also important to remember that Indiana has won 2 of the last 3 meetings between these two teams.
There are only 2 victories against Ohio State in 38 years. Turner in motion. Green. Sideline pattern to Thomas again. That's the pass, and you mentioned it earlier. Joe Novak, the offensive, I should say George Ballou, the offensive coordinator, was telling us that's the pass that he can't throw very well, that he hasn't thrown very well thus far.
And they've gone to that play repeatedly this afternoon. Conspicuous in his absence is the name Alonzo Spellman. No sacks this year, no tackles for a loss. This is a guy last year that had 4 sacks in 10 starts, and is an impact player. We haven't really mentioned him much at all this afternoon.
Inside the 45 of Ohio State is Vaughn Dunbar. Lease made the stop.
And let's take a look and see what happens to Alonzo Spellman and see why we haven't mentioned him all day.
They got Sean Harper in his face that time. Third down, about 3 yards to go for Indiana. 5:54 to go. Fourth period of play. Ohio State leading by 3. Dunbar. That time a little delay, and the Buckeyes were waiting for it. Tovard and Peel. Peel came in from his safety position on a blitz, and he had Dunbar all the way.
And Ohio State did to Indiana what Indiana has been doing to Ohio State all day. Out of a base set, they blitzed the backside corner. That was the fella that came in and managed to hit Dunbar in the backfield.
Montgomery, another 4th down decision.
4th and 3, they're going for it. This shows a tremendous amount of confidence this close to midfield to go with your offensive crew to try and pick up 3 yards.
Green. First down inside the 30. It's Turner near the 28.
Wow, I'm going to tell you what a great throw this was, because earlier Turner has been running all by himself back there. Now you can see he's open, but there is coverage over top and coverage underneath. That was a super pass by Trent Green to hit Rob Turner, because even though he would look like he was open, there were Ohio State players in front and in back, and he had to drop the ball in. That's a great play right there.
16 yards on the pass, and there's that sideline pattern we've been talking about that he's had trouble throwing, but that time he got the ball across the field.
Well, I'll tell you the difference in the patterns in just a second, Wayne.
First down for the Hoosiers. Dunbar.
The pass patterns that he's been throwing so well today are not the out patterns. They've been the corner patterns. The difference between the two, one is upfield at an angle, and the out pattern is a straight break. The out pattern, you have to put a lot of cannon behind that thing. The corner pattern, you can throw to a spot and let your receiver adjust to it. That's the difference. The corners have been good for Indiana. The out patterns haven't.
Indiana averaging 284 yards a game rushing. They have 263 to this point. Second down. Dunbar again. Coleman got a piece of him in the offensive backfield. Dunbar able to leap forward for maybe 2 yards down to the 25. Spellman was also there on the stop.
Wayne, you had mentioned earlier in the telecast that Ohio State was having a terrible problem stopping people on 3rd down conversions. Thus far, Indiana has killed Ohio State on 3rd and 4th down conversions.
Indiana 5 of 11. That's almost 50% on 3rd down conversions.
Quality gift for everyone on your list, guaranteed. But would they listen? So while they're still frantically shopping, I'm not. Guess who's laughing now?
Home Shopping Club. Great bargains guaranteed.
On at last.
Now we can watch Pass and Pete.
That must be the pizza.
At Pass, we mean it when we say we bring the games to you, from the Red Wings and Pistons to horse racing, college sports, and more.
Well, is it the pizza?
You better come see this.
Now order Pass and one other premium service of your choice and get both for the price of one for 30 days. Call today.
Look at this.
You couldn't just tell me the pizza was here? You acted like it was Isaiah Thomas or something.
Last year's tournament produced one of the most dramatic victories in the history of the tour. Can the excitement be matched? The Las Vegas Invitational. Coverage continues Saturday and Sunday only on ESPN. One full day of NFL action in just 60 minutes. In-depth highlights of every game played on Sunday. It's football's fastest hour, NFL Primetime. Sundays at 7 Eastern only on ESPN.
As soon as our action is finished here in Bloomington, the Residence Inn scoreboard, Tim and Lee will have all the updates for you. And then Texas at Oklahoma and Florida and Tennessee. Following two games in our triple header here on ESPN. And those games pack as much excitement as this one has. It's going to be a great late afternoon and evening.
So ESPN does a great job at making an entire day of great college football available to you at no charge.
3rd and 7 from the 25. Play action to Dunbar. Green lots of time. Over the middle, got his man for a 1st and goal. It's Eddie Thomas this time at the 6. Vinnie Clark made the stop.
I talked earlier about the ability to anticipate a receiver coming open. Trent Green doesn't do it here because he has to move around in the pocket a little bit, but it works to his advantage. You'll see Thomas push up the field and break across. He has to clear the underneath man coverage first. Good catch. Put his hands on the football. Vinnie Clark all over it.
19-yard gain. Indiana trailing by 3. Knocking at the Ohio State door from the 6 on 1st and goal. Dunbar down to maybe the 3-yard line. 2:35 left to be played. Indiana trailing by 3.
And a lot of people don't understand this, Wayne, when I'll say this, but let me try to explain. If you're Indiana, you want to score, but you don't want to score right now. You want to take a little time off the clock because you don't want to give Ohio State the ball with time to come back and possibly get down and get a field goal.
John Cooper has seen his team lose the last 2 weeks to USC and Illinois. 2nd and goal to go at the 3. Dunbar. Touchdown!
There is a flag down, though.
Penalty marker down in the middle of the line. And that has tempered applause from the sellout crowd.
I believe it's holding Indiana.
Tough call against the Hoosiers.
What a huge call.
Minute 57 left to be played. This will make it 2nd down. Back near the 12-yard line, and it's still a goal-to-go situation, obviously. Jim Kimmerling, the Big Ten referee.
We have a hole on the offense. Still 2nd down.
Indiana went back to their bread and butter and used the play, the same play that they had called on 4th and 2. The delayed draw to Vaughn Dunbar. It worked again. Unfortunately, somewhere in the middle of that line, one of those hosses up there got caught with his hands around somebody.
Tom Lease right there. There it is. Held, yep. Around the waist. Indiana leads the Big Ten in penalties, although this has been a relatively penalty-less game for both teams. They played well in that regard. They got it at the 13 on 2nd down and goal to go. Green. Pass undershot the intended receiver, Vaughn Dunbar. He would not have gotten anything. Matter of fact, he would have lost about 5 yards. Ohio State had it well covered. Frimmel and Simmons coming through on the pass rush.
I'm I'm kind of perplexed as to what Trent Green was looking at. They had set up the screen to the strong side, but he was looking hard downfield to the left, and I'm not sure if he had maybe was trying to look somebody away or if he thought he saw something down there.
Third down and goal to go now. The football near the 13-yard line of Ohio State. That holding penalty may be the difference between a touchdown or a field goal by this man, number 6, Bunnell.
In my opinion, Wayne, a great call right here would be to run the sweep and then run the reverse, because Ohio State is fired up and they are going to be pursuing like crazy.
Third down and goal to go. Dunbar cuts it back to the 10-yard line. Minute 44 to go, coming up on a minute 40 left to be played. Simmons made the stop. Bunnell could tie the ball game with a field goal, and they're sending the field goal unit on.
There was just that slight hesitation by Coach Mallory when he was thinking, well, maybe we could go for the whole ball of wax here. But he's made this. I think he's made the smart decision.
Bunnell kicked a 42-yard field goal earlier. This will be a 27-yard field goal attempt. It's perfect inside of 30. And the ball game is tied.
I mentioned it earlier, Wayne. They wanted to score, but they didn't want to score too quickly. A minute 9 left. A 5th-year senior and a 3-year starter. Fry has got plenty of time left on the clock to work his magic.
Bunnell, one of the best kickers in the Big Ten Conference. Take a look at John Cooper. He didn't think it was any good.
Trying to use we were talking about Greg Fry and the fact that he has a minute 9 left to work. This is a guy that can put some points on the board in a hurry. Last year against Minnesota, they were down 31-0. Subsequently, he threw for 362 yards and 3 touchdowns to rally them back, and they won 41-37. This is a guy that knows what he needs to take a shot at. I don't think you'll see him take a lot of chances, but he will take the shot to move his team down the field.
Now, we talked about veteran leadership. Also, what about the strategy kicking-wise here? Ohio State is up on the return line. There's Robert Smith. He's one of the defects. The lone defect, really.
Well, I think
they're looking for an onside kick, perhaps.
You absolutely have to kick it away here because it's a tie ball game, and a field goal wins it for Ohio State. You do not want to give them field position.
Bunnell kicking away. Robert Smith backing up to the goal line. To the 10. Out to the 20, maybe the 21-yard line. Perkins and Dumas on the stop. Robert Smith on the return. He'll stay in the game. There's the scoring drive. 55 yards and 13 plays. Boy, that holding penalty down inside the 5 cost them a touchdown, perhaps.
And it was a good call, but you almost hate to see at that point the ball taken out of the player's hands and have called back on a penalty.
Fry has 2 timeouts with which to work. 1:04 left in the game. We're tied at 27. Time. Tried to drill it into his intended receiver, Bernard Edwards. Hagan had the coverage near the 25. Chris McCoy put some last-second pass rush pressure on the quarterback from behind.
This is pressure that you can feel. It's like when you know something's coming and boom, let me tell you folks, that hurts.
I beg your pardon, Greg Farrell put on the pass rush pressure from behind.
Even though he's got rib pads on, which you can see outlined underneath the jersey, that really hurts.
Second down and 10 from the 20. Raymond Harris. Under a minute to go now. Dave Ane and Mark Hagan on the stop. That's the scoreboard story. 8 of 3 on that play. John Cooper. Tim Coletto, the offensive coordinator, talking with Greg Fry and Bobby Olive. And Bobby Olive. To go in Bloomington. We're tied.
A company can learn a lot in 125 years. Valvoline has. You learn in the lab, you learn on the road, you learn on the racetrack. As you learn, you make your product better. And better and better. Today's Valvoline will keep your engine cleaner than ever before. And cleaner means more protection against engine wear. 125 years of quality. That's why people who know use Valvoline.
Winning. It can all come down to one spark plug. Champion. No other brand of spark plug in the world has fired more NASCAR, Indy, and Formula One drivers to victory than Champion. Imagine what it can do for you. Plug in the winners. Plug in the Champion. Because when we race, you win.
Pizza Hut presents the $4 pizza deal.
We get one pizza.
Regular price.
The 4 more pizzas are each?
$4.
What about a Supreme?
Regular price.
And a pepperoni lovers?
$4.
How about 3 sausage pizzas?
Regular price, $4, $4.
5 Super Supremes.
Regular price, $4, $4, $4, $4.
For a limited time, first pizza regular price up to 4 more, just $4 each. Is $4 each.
Okay, how about a meat lovers, 2 pepperoni lovers, a Ferrari, and a sausage pizza?
Regular price, $4, $4. 145,580 bucks. $4.
Wayne Larrabee, Ben Bennett, David Perch, journalism major here at Indiana, has been patrolling the sidelines for us. It's been a marvelous afternoon of college football here in Big Ten country. Third down for Ohio State. 7 yards to go at the Buckeye 23. Raymond Harris, nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Harry Wardlow would not give up on the tackle. Chris McCoy hit him in the Ohio State. Ohio State. 42 seconds left to go, and Mallory and company will get it back for one last stab. All right, 2 things.
Hershey presents Symphony, a masterpiece of chocolate with more milk than any leading bar. It's smooth, creamy, with a whole different taste. Symphony from Hershey, also with almonds and toffee chips.
They say drink plenty of fluids. Swallowing's total pain.
To stop sore throat pain fast, Advanced Formula Chloraseptic has the power of phenol. It penetrates nerve endings to work on contact, so it gives the fastest relief. And nothing lasts longer. Advanced Formula Chloraseptic works fastest, and nothing lasts longer. For fast relief when you're away from your spray, also try great-tasting Chloraseptic lozenges.
Ohio State at punt formation. They've had trouble with blocked kicks, like 3 in the last 3 weeks, including 2 punts. This guy has blocked 8 kicks in his career.
2 already this season.
Jeff Bowman, punt formation, high snap, and good protection. Turner lets it hit on the 40. Took an Ohio State hop for a moment and then picked up by Rich Primble, the tight end. No timeouts left for Indiana. 33 seconds with which to work, and a sophomore quarterback going to be coming out to lead the Hoosiers.
When you've got a kick blocker like this, boy, you do everything you can to stop him. They could have called that a hold. Had they been watching that, they could have called that a hold and given him another shot to come back and block another one. All right, so now you're Indiana. You've got the opportunity to move the ball down the field and take a shot at a field goal. Don't make any mistakes down here, but you've got to take some chances.
First down, 34-yard line, Hoosier territory. Green going to take it himself. Out near the 49-yard line. First down, and of course they stop the clock till they move the chains. Jason Simmons recovered to make a stop for the Ohio State defense along with Steve Tovar. Indiana goes without the huddle. And Trent Green grounds the football, stopping the clock with 22 seconds remaining. If you're thinking ahead to field goal, Bunnell's longest is 43 coming into today's game. He hit a 42-yarder earlier. Career long is 55, and that is the IU record.
He also, it should be important to note, has kicked a 57-yarder in high school. So he does have tremendous range.
Got about 20 more yards to get him in the range, though. Second down at 10. Green. Inside the 45. Big play by Spellman and Simmons. Loss of yardage down to about the 44-yard line. A loss of 5. And a big sack for that Ohio State defense.
And as soon as you tell him that he's not around, look who comes in and helps out on a big play.
Third down. Green looking to the sidelines, trying to get it out to the tight end, Walker, who was heading toward the chalk marks to stop the clock. 1 second remaining now.
Well, Wayne, this is a good time to ask you, in your opinion, this game looks like it's going to end in a tie. Who's happy? Who's disappointed?
I don't think either side is overly happy with the tie, Ben.